Howdy do, and welcome to protoViolence. Now, this is the sequel game that I was told about in that email. I'm going to get the name wrong, so I'm going to try and pronounce all of them. Mado? I'm so sorry, you do deserve better. But, this was the second game, also free by the way, and we're going to jump immediately into it. I was told very little, which is good, so we can go into this kind of, blind, and this is a bit of a different experience than the first game was, and I'm interested now, so we're going to hit start. And we're going to see where this ride takes us. Over 2 decades ago, Dr. Iris Kai wrote me a recommendation for an up-and-coming international security agency. Up-and-coming security international agency. SIP? 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 Alright, acronyms were a thing in the first one. At the time, I was overjoyed just to be on track, getting into the growing field early, do good science while the fires of innovation are still hot, then dip out with distinction before the coal grows cold. I like that. But these days let's put it this way. The first time my name showed up as a footnote in a cybernetics textbook, I called my parents and invited my friends to dinner at my favorite restaurant. Half a year ago, when I got a write-up on the East Coast Medicine Review, I didn't even open the copy they sent me. Oh. So when Iris announced her retirement, I assumed that was her Inui, or Anui was a little more advanced than my own. I said Inui. Really? It was a nice party. She was surrounded by friends and coworkers, lauded by her peers and praised by her subordinates. And yet the whole time she looked hollow. Fear of retirement, I theorized. No, it's probably guilt. I couldn't have been further from the truth, yeah. STOP, the organization I dedicated my life to, has always been at the forefront of cybernetics. The bleeding edge, some would say. We took risk, but it was for the greater good. We were grateful to every volunteer and veteran that assisted us. Were they all volunteer? Because the first game had me figuring out some things, all right? So I'm not so sure about STOP anymore. Or SIP even. Who is SIP? Might be the same thing. There might not be no SIP. SIP might be STOP, all right? I might have been reading into that too much, pun intended. But now they're pushing all the wrong boundaries. Taking science, my science, in a cruel new direction that I cannot abide. Trainee sample 1, trainees. Okay, so they're saying trainee sample, so I guess these are volunteers still, though. Because the fruits of my research are being used to experiment on children. Ah, yeah. That'll do it. Let's see, about the YT, on the right side here, about the YTDI notes, new program developed and based on my cybernetic, I'm guessing research, Angie is a part of the blank, and experiment, on children? Yeah. I cannot fathom how STOP got so far out of hand. But I can find out. I'm not powerless, and the architects behind these new programs aren't fools. If I can present a proper case against this, show them the pain hidden between the numbers and the suffering they're whitewashing over in pursuit of percentage points, I have hope that things can still be made right. So you still hope the organization just has lost its way, and if you open their eyes, they'll be like, we need to stop. I don't know about that. But that hope is dwindling. I thought I granted peace to the world with my research. Oh no! Maybe all I did was read a new Nero. Wreath a new Nero? I think I botched that. Considering that these are both visual novels, reading should have been my forefront. I should have brushed up, took a class, something, because we just botching stuff out here. Sorry. Sorry for messaging you at this hour. Couldn't sleep. Having second thoughts? No. My transfer's already been approved. Next Monday, I'm entering the Youth Training and Development Initiative as supervisor, but Iris. So I'm guessing this is from the perspective of Dr. Danger before they became Dr. Danger, because all the points are leading to the things we found out by getting all the ending stuff and research notes in the first game. This is like before they became Dr. Danger. So Destrange, I think was their name, and I could never pronounce their first name correctly. We could just call them Dee. But Iris, you've worked with STOP longer than I have. Can you tell me anything else about the YTDI, so the Youth Training and Development Initiative? Nothing that'll help you sleep. Well, that's reassuring. I still can't believe this is happening. STOP's full of scientists, not... Good scientists follow the science wherever it leads, right? And I recall a brilliant researcher concluding years ago that the younger the patient, the better the cybernetic synth rate. That research was intended for STOP agents. volunteers, heroes if you prefer, between the ages of like 18 and... So I remember in the first game, they were talking about like the cybernetic sync rate would be better if you got your cybernetics like fresh at 18 versus like say 24 onwards. So they, which is literally over half a decade younger. They didn't mean like young children. Not anyone under 18. Well, the higher ups would beg to differ. They tell you that they're providing these trainees with an education and a guaranteed future. Worth an eye or an ear, right? I don't want this to be my legacy, Iris. Where's the greater good in grafting dangerous tech onto children? When Stop was founded, that good was clear. Back when the world was in turmoil and cybernetics were getting slapped into terrorists and madmen and vet clinics and garages. Stop put it into that. So the name's pretty apt. We put it into that. And then we kept going, so it wouldn't happen again. Like I said, not the best topic of conversation if you're looking to put your mind at ease. But do try to get some rest anywheres. Daydeer. Daydeer? Daydre. I'm guessing Dre. Daydre. Daydre? You're allowed to correct me in the comments. I won't mind. I know I'm getting the names wrong. And I'm sorry. From the sounds of it, you have a long weekend ahead of you. I'll do my best. I am recording, right? Yes, I am. May 13th, 2070, either 2070 or 2079. Either way, only like 50-ish years away. Ooh, this is nice. Clean. Sterile, even. And a wall moves into view. There's always walls in my life, I feel. Okay, there we go. My honest first impression. This is beautiful. Yeah, I was trying... I'm sorry, I was being a little dumb there. You know, when you do commentary and stuff, you always try and like improv and because then, you know, people will play stuff and you want to make sure it's your own while still enjoying the product. And this is a great pan, actually, because it is pretty nice and decent architecture. Natural light trickles through the frosted glass, enveloping the courtyard in a warm, soft glow. From the bridge I'm on, I can even see green. Grass, flowers, trees, an oasis of natural beauty full of life and full of laughing children. Oh no, is this where the abductions start? I can't help but wonder if I made a wrong turn. There aren't any stark surgical scrubs or hospital gowns, and the air smells clean, not disinfected. But inevitably, my eyes are drawn towards the towering column that pierces the building's center. Yeah, this thing that's just kind of in the way. Yeah, a dark monument, one with few doors, no windows, and a very heavy shadow. My skin prickles. What purpose could...
Not lost already, are you?
Oh, thank goodness. Kind of like with any visual novel I play, I'm always appreciative when there is voice act. I'm not gonna knock one and like, you know, it sucks it doesn't have any, because I don't know the process I went into going to make it and what the team was working on it and what their ability and resources were. So I don't usually knock that, but I'm not gonna lie. If a visual novel has voice acting in it, I usually do like that because it gives my voice a little bit of rest from narrating like everything. It's not a requirement, but I do appreciate that. Not lost already, are you? My train of thought's grim path is cut short by a familiar, husky voice. Friend?
Angie, it's wonderful to see you again. Same
Yeah.
to you, Daedra.
Daedra. Okay, I actually... Because you know like there's Daedra armor? Or Daedric armor? I was thinking that for a second, but like, no, I have to be wrong, because I'm usually wrong. So it is Daedra. Okay. As usual, Angie is formal, but I recognize the warmth in her words. It's been a long time since we've talked face to face. For sure. I didn't think we'd get to work together again, but not every career path's a straight line, right? No, definitely not. Happy as I am to be working with you, I was surprised to learn that you wanted to transfer here. I always thought of you as married to the craft of cybernetics and nothing else. I was gonna say squeamish. Wow. Go with the first one. Just go with the first one. They're married to the craft of cybernetics. Steam Shell Kid's married to the grind set. I'm married to the mean streets. Etsuko's married to work. You're married to watching this video for however long's left in it, and I appreciate that, by the way. Just wanted to put that out there. You didn't have to be here, but you are. Thanks. Love your face. Also, we rocking the glasses too. I looked at it and like everyone had glasses. Caution had glasses. I'm like, we can go glasses this time, right? That fits. We'll go glasses this time. I was gonna say squeamish. Yeah. Just run that back. I suppose there's nothing more to me than meets the eye. I suppose there is. Also, I only got like 3 hours of sleep, so popping in contacts just did not feel good. So like, you know what? All right. I understand you're planning to write a case study on the work they're doing here at the YTDI. Funny. You've always been more interested in theory than application. Then again, you've always been a pioneer as well. I mean, it's a new program based on my research. Why wouldn't I observe it? Oh no, I think it's fantastic having you, of all people, here. Going out of your way to help us improve the YTDI, that's a dream come true for all of us. In fact, no. I don't want to get too deep into the discussion on your first day. Your time's valuable, so how about I give you a tour? Oh, well, I did request one. No, trust me. There's a lot more that we could cover in one day. But we should be able to go over the basics. Or there's a lot more than we will be able to cover in one day, but we should be over the basics, places, permissions, practice standards, that sort of thing. And who better to help you find your footing than an old colleague? All right. Where to first? Awesome. I'm not a professional tour guide, but I'd say the courtyard would be the best place to start. Lead the way. So I can thank Zbox for knowing how to pronounce Daedra. There we go. Because they have the Daedra armor across like all the things that we do. It's actually kind of cool when you think about like the unity, the consistency. Anyway, so that's why there's so much greenery. Of course, we want our trainees to be as healthy as possible, both physically and mentally. And while it might be hard to see the benefits on an MRI, being around trees and plants really does wonders for the brain. For instance, several observational studies have shown that a strong... No, Angie, I believe you. Actually, I think I feel it myself. We installed it for all the trainees' sake, but if it helps the staff stay sane as well, it's a nice bonus. That reminds me, you should see the classrooms too. Classrooms? Let's go. We're going to teach people how to be people. So we take these stairs and go through these doors. Oh, after you, of course. And if we just go down this hallway... Posture check. Posture check. Yeah, so I use the word sterile because it reminds me of almost hospital-like, but not fully. Hospital-like with a little bit of homeliness to it. Kind of like the way an Airbnb works a little bit, where it's still kind of hotel-like, but it's a bit more lived in more. We're here. Bit of a walk, isn't it? Must be easy to get lost. I suppose. But you get used to it. Anyways, this is where the trainees get educated. Oh, and what does that involve? Well, we've got all the core essentials. Math, literacy, self-defense, and physical Pardon? Physical education. No, I mean self-defense. Yeah, we just gonna blow past that? Oh, don't make that face. It's not that serious. Gym mats and padded gloves and whatnot. At their age, the trainees couldn't hurt each other even if they tried. And do they ever try to hurt each other? Nah. The world's a dangerous place. Our trainees know that better than most their age. The earlier we teach them how to protect themselves, the better off they'll be. I mean, as long as it stays self-defense. You're not teaching people how to attack and hurt people, are you? I suppose you're right. But it's not all schoolwork and drills. The trainees get to do fun stuff too. I mean, we passed an arts and crafts center just a moment ago. You should see some of the stuff they make in there. We might have the next Mark Rothko or... I always say Aegis because of the haunts. Agnes Martin on our hands. I had to struggle. Listen, I'm not going to get too sidetracked, but there's a horse you might have heard of in a certain franchise, and I always botch their name. People think it's a meme. I really just can't pronounce their name if I tried. It's the scientist one, all right? Which is fitting. I nod as if I know who those people are. Yeah, I'm going to be real. Those could be references to real existing people, much like the horses are, actually, and then Uma Musume, for that matter. I'm realizing I don't know things anymore outside of what like I need to know to usually complete like day-to-day work. And I kind of feel bad sometimes. There's some really cool and interesting things out there to learn, y'all. Just on a side note, if you ever have the chance to just randomly read Wikipedia articles about how like batteries work, whatever, just when you got some free time every now and then, just learn a little bit about something or like a person. It's actually pretty cool, the amount of stuff that has happened in the past and also present in terms of things you could just learn. And I'm just using this as a PSA about how stupid I am. But fine art never was a favorite subject of mine. Well, I have to check it out another time. Yeah, you ought to. Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. You want to observe a trainee for your case study, correct? Yes, that's right. Why do you ask? We've got a class going on right now. Should be literacy at this time of day. You're suggesting I choose my case study subject right now? You could give you a much better idea of what we do, seeing how the trainees actually go about their day. Come, look over here. Don't worry, they won't notice us. They're all preoccupied with self-defense. Writing exercises, it looks like. This is a classroom? Yep. I've been in medical libraries with more noise. Well behaved, aren't they? You can thank the core curriculum designers for that. Our trainees are showing a 34% increase in memory retention compared to the same age control group, short and long term. That's very impressive, isn't it? The bell could ring right now and they'd still be glued to their work. If this were any other education program, they'd be fiddling with their fine liners, glaring at the clock, doodling in the margins, like that child over there. Oh, busted. Right, that one. What's wrong with that one? He's a bit of an outlier statistically. Really? But I thought your curriculum was, well, it's not 100% effective. Sometimes you still get stragglers. It's fine, but we don't leave them behind. All they need is a little extra motivation. There, the teacher's already taken notice. He's taking him to the front of the classroom. Is he being yelled at? Yelled at? The teacher might be raising their voice. Hold on. What are the other children? Why are all the other children going up with him? They didn't do anything wrong. Well, that's the extra motivation I was talking about. Oh, are they all going to get punished? And they're about to start holding everybody accountable, which could get really, really violent really fast. Oh, I'll see you at self-defense training later for this one. Yeah, look at the side eyes. Look at the side eyes. Look at the side eyes. All new trainees get sorted into squadrons. Oh. Oh, no. So the whole squad's going to get punished? Ah, squadrons. Ooh, I've only experienced that like one time. And it was one time too many because I'm just like, listen, what is that really doing? Never mind. I'm not going to get into it. But I'm just like, listen, if they're going to do their thing, it doesn't matter what we say or do either. Because then they're going to get combative and then it's just going to cause problems anyways. And then we're all going to have problems. And then we like in other situations, we just cut people out the group. Never mind. It doesn't matter. But I think I see where this is going. And I'm flashing back. Squadrons? Like soldiers? Like birds, I'd say. They're close knit. That is one of the cooler things about certain things. When certain camaraderie, that's what's kind of cool though. Is it's kind of like a pact, like a bond, if you will. Y'all might. It's kind of like siblings, right? You might banter and stuff, but when something serious happens, you're there, and that part's cool. That part's cool. We expect each squadron to fly at roughly the same pace, so if one member underperforms, the entire group is made aware of it, and they're side-eyeing. I know it all looks a little inflexible, but they're better off learning these rules early. I'm not sure that... Oh, they seem happy. They also got glasses. I got glasses. I'm saying glasses was the play for the episode. I thought you said they couldn't see us. Well, the windows, they didn't say the windows aren't see-through. They said they're so preoccupied they wouldn't see us. But the glass is probably just regular glass. He smiled at me. Oh. They're supposed to stand perfectly still for a full 5 minutes, so that's... Might have to refocus. I've made my decision. We're doing this. Oh, good. Switch trainee. I want that boy to be my subject. And why him specifically? I can't give a concrete answer. I suppose I'm going with my gut. I think we know who that is, by the way. That's not very scientific. I wonder about that because depending on like this is like a broader thing, cross media period, and then also real life. Whenever a scientist is portrayed, they're never always like the complete same on how they do their scientific logic. Sometimes they do fly by the skin of their teeth because that is how they do their research, or that is how they feel is the best way to conduct something scientifically, is to kind of like that curious itch and pursuing it to scratch it. While others are very more rigid to, this is the science that exists. I'm not doing anything outside of this. If we find a new discovery, cool, but it ain't going to be because of me. It's going to be because of subject B over there. And they just found something. And it's crazy. Like depending on the scientist in question, like you could look at, say, like Professor Stein and Soul Eater. You could look at the Haunts. There's all of them that do science stuff across all these different mediums. And also depending on what specifically the science is, because you look at like Miss Fairweather and Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, she built Zords, right? That's... You gotta, it depends on, I guess, the science itself, but it always is kind of interesting how this comes up as a core thing about like, what is then scientific and what's not? Do you go based off of what's established only, or do you like find? There are things to still find and discover. I just always find that interesting when it comes up, and it's cool to see that's going to be playing a part right now, right? Then why don't we call it an initiative choice, an intuitive choice even, made by one of the world's leading cybernetic researchers? I don't want to throw that card out, but I guess I got to throw that card out. My research being used again, hello. I'm making a play. Right. But as I said, that particular trainee is something of a statistical outlier. Then taking a closer look at him should help us correct any efficiencies in the program, no? I suppose I can't argue with that. If anything, that would be, personally, I would agree with that. If there's some sort of outlier, that would be what I want to research, because why are they an outlier? What makes them an outlier? Yeah, this program seems to be successful, 98% maybe even, but what is that 2%? What's going on there? And maybe that just has to do with growing up. Now, growing up, if I ever, sorry about that, acid is working wonders tonight. I always wondered about that from the perspective of like, or I always relate to it from a perspective of when I would have a test from school and I'd bring it home to my mother. My mother is supportive. Let me just clarify though. Great parent. But if I came in with a test and I got like a 96% on it, she would ask, okay, well, what happened to the other 4? Why'd you miss 4%? I wouldn't be like grounded or get in trouble or whooped or anything like that for getting a 96, but she would make sure to pose the question, was it was it something that I could have looked into and done better on? Was it something I was lazy on? Was it something that I had control over? Or was it just really, you studied a bunch and there's a few things that slip through the gaps. Okay, cool. But just the understanding of why. So in a situation like this, I hearken to that too, because if there's an outlier, why? Why is there an outlier? And could we understand more about why there's an outlier?
Here's where his quarters are. You're certain this is the one you want to use for your case study?
Absolutely. Again, I've made my decision, Angie.
Right. Just wanted to confirm. Trainee C0458?
Man, I'm so used to Star Wars that I almost, because in Star Wars, even though a lot of clones had names because of the stuff they'd gone through, like they were usually like CT something something something. So it's like, what, Clone Officer 485? I swear, if a clone trooper slid on in, I wouldn't even question it. I know that's not what's about to happen. I just wouldn't question it, and it's just kind of funny. I'm so sorry. I'm getting so sidetracked. But it's this is bringing up a lot of fascinating talking points at the same time, which is usually enjoyable for me. 5, 4, 5. Were there any keypads in the first game that we could have used those 3 numbers for? I wonder. Could you come here, please? I want to introduce you to someone. She's a visitor. One just for you.
A visitor?
Yep. Try to be quick, though. She's a very busy lady with a lot to get done today. Oh. Wait a minute. You're the lady I saw in class. Indeed she is. What's S4174 doing with you? So here's the thing about designations, right? On one hand, I get it. When it comes to situations like this or certain like unit squads, etc., etc., I get it. But I wonder, when you have enough of them, does that start getting kind of complicated? Like, if they're S4174, does that mean there's a S1? If is the S4s like a squad and there's 174 of them and there's 174 of like S3s, 2s, and at that point, I almost wonder, and I'm wondering, I'm not saying this like it's a factual thing, but I almost wonder if that is still then easier to have a designation like that than just using names. Especially because in this scenario, yeah, these are trainees and stuff, but these are trainees you're training like for the world, to my understanding, right? You're training them up to the cybernetic research and stuff like that too, but also to just in the world. That's why you're training them with self-defense, is because the world's dangerous, but eventually they're going to go out in the world and be people. So, man, remembering, because that one is S4174, but this one is CO5 or 4. I'm already messing it up. See, I would be terrible in these situations. That's why I could never have gone in any of these fields, is my Zoro sense of direction would also run into like verbalization, and so I'd fumble something really important like a code and get everybody in trouble, and it wasn't on purpose, but it doesn't matter, right? In a situation like that, it's too bad. So I saved a lot of people's lives by never touching any of those fields with my my verbal Zoroing of things. CO458. So could there be like 400 of thems, 100 of thems, 1,000 of these? And I wonder, I guess when you work in this, obviously it would be easier for you, just like names, to just put a number to a face. But I don't know, something about that. It's like, well, hold on. What if I accidentally said 4S174? And it was something really important, like an operation, and now they just got grabbed in their sleep instead of that one who was supposed to get grabbed in their sleep. I've doomed people. Well, not by staying out of it. People don't understand. There's certain things I haven't dove into or haven't touched, not because I think it's stupid, because I know I would have been the problem, me. You know, it's funny because when I got the email about these games, I was explaining that this one really is maybe like a 2-hour experience, and I feel like with my rambling, we're about to make this like a 3.5 situation. So I'm sorry, but buckle up. Shiri wanted to come, so I let her. Or Shri. So see what I mean? Like they're going to be using names anyways. It's kind of like the clone troopers I was mentioning. The clone troopers have designations and they probably remember them, but they're going to be using like, you think I go in certain job interviews and I call myself Gamerson? Absolutely at this point, because no one's stopping me, so I might as well continue. It's like that Jin quote from League where he's like, until they stop me, I will keep going. So, okay, yes, but you think most of y'all use y'all's usernames? Probably not. So, you know, eventually, no matter where you stand on that situation, I guess, you still probably have a username that is a username, right? I'm not going to look in the comment section of this video and find like 0508871-716S9, right? You're probably going to have a name, and that's fine. I'm not knocking any of it. I'm just saying it is kind of interesting how that works. Because then you usually see this develop where people will still have like nicknames, like something will happen or a mission will happen where something happened or something just goofy happened on a non-mission situation. And people will eventually get a nickname. You'll have a name, you'll have a nickname. For example, Professional Abandoner, The Cold, Bully, Zorro. I realize I don't really got like a cool nickname, do I? All my nicknames have like are from like goofy reasons. All right, anyways, what a good friend you are. And I guess it also depends on the environment, because like they said this the number, they said the name, they, unless I'm about to click and something's about to change, didn't correct them. They just said, what a good friend you are. So maybe they're encouraging friendship, though, because they did say they have squads, like a bird's nest and stuff. And like I said, camaraderie is great. I'm so sorry. Side note again. That's why And it'll be interesting to see how this goes now that they've introduced this, because like in Star Wars, I know people have their own feelings on the inhibitor chip. I'm not going to try and change your opinion on how you feel about the inhibitor chip. I liked the introduction of it because I hated the idea that the Clone Wars was 3 years, okay? I hate the idea that some of these clones are out in the trenches with these Jedi. Obviously, all of the Jedi weren't great commanders, and some of them, like Pong Krell, if you haven't seen the Umbara arc in the Clone Wars, and you really like that, like, ground fighting war, like, that one might be the arc to watch if you've never watched any of it. He was trash, though, and, like, actually, like, a bad guy. But the idea that they just, we literally just watched Kenobi kill Grievous, and you're telling me like all Jedi need to suddenly be purged? All right, cool, blast him, I guess, whatever. Like, Commander Cody, hello? That made no sense to me. And so for the longest back in day, when I played like, the old Battlefront 2, I'd always play as the droids, because I'm like, at least the droids are bad and they're openly bad, right? Some Confederate members and planets might be thinking they're fighting a corrupt republic. That's cute, but like their face is General Grievous and stuff like that. They know they're bad guys. So let me just be the openly bad guys instead of the guys that like just dumped on 3 years of camaraderie in the trenches just in an instant for what? For what? No questioning, no nothing. I guess in the 501st journal there was the idea that some people were questioning it as they were transferring to Coruscant. I get that, but I'm huge on camaraderie. That's one of my biggest things. So I'm bringing this up because this will be interesting to see how even this right here plays out as we go through this. Because the inhibitor chip, for some people, it sucks, a bit of a cop-out. For me, it makes a ton more sense. Because now your camaraderie doesn't matter. You were forced. You were basically playing a back seat to your body for like 2 months until that finally kind of really dissolved away. And that's why then so many clones just started defecting from the Empire immediately, because they realized what they'd done. They had always realized but couldn't really stop what they'd done, and they hated it. Because also, side note, some Jedi were cool. I know it's like, man, the last 10 years has really just been dump on Jedi. Some Jedi were cool. Some Jedi took care of their clones. Some clones loved jumping into stupid situations with their Jedi generals. There's this clip. Man, I'm going to have to cut all this out of editing. I'm sorry. There's this clip from the old Clone Wars show from 2003 where Dirge and his droids are like messing up the clone walkers and artillery on bikes with jousts. And when Obi-Wan is made aware by one of the clones, he's like, get the men ready. And they go on bikes too with their own joust. And they're space jousting. Well, not in space, but like they're jousting on bikes instead of just calling in the nearest Venator and be like, okay, we need like global, like orbital artillery all right there where Dirge and his troops are. I guarantee you the clones were like, yeah, I want to do this. If Space Wizard Jesus showed up and said, we're going space jousting, I'm down. I'm just saying. I do a whole side thing if I want to, but the point was camaraderie is really big for me. So now that this has been introduced, I am very curious to see where this is going to go. And if you're like the team that wrote this, or you just know this game and you know where it's going, you already have heard everything I've just said now for the past 10 minutes. You're like, buckle up. Or, oh no, it's cool. But this meeting's just for you, C0458. So S4 174, you're free to. Is it that big of a deal, Angie? I don't think there's any harm in meeting his roommate. That's nice. Now here's the thing. I could go on the. I'm gonna keep doing this. We're gonna get like 2 sentences for like 5 minutes of me expositioning about something. I'm not gonna do that. Roommates sound cool. I'm just saying. Because again, squads, so then you have people live together, habits. Sometimes you do things different when you live with even one other person than when you live on your own. Because or at least you have any kind of care for the person you're rooming with. And I don't mean like any care like you're in a relationship even. It could just be like, because you're sharing a space, there are certain things you're going to be conscious of. So it'll be interesting. Right. Then why don't you introduce yourself to the lady?
Well, allow me.
Yeah, I feel like we know who this is, by the way. Please try to keep it short. We have only so much time. It's okay. We had all the time.
Nice to meet ya. I'm Pavel.
Pavel. Wait. Okay. Hey. How you doing? Okay. Sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do the thing. I promise you, we're gonna pick up from here. From here onwards, I promise you, we're gonna get down to business. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is fun, though. Actually, hold on. I was not ready for that. But I think we know who this is, and this will be interesting because, like, I was also told. I can say that now because I think it's pretty obvious, so it's not really a spoiler. I was told this game is a prequel to the first game. To play the first game first, 'cause for one, it's the first game, and then play this one. But this is apparently I keep saying sequel. There's my Zoroism. It's second, but it comes before in the timeline of events. All right.
Oh, most of the people here only call me CO458.
A serial number. Standard procedure. It's how we keep data collection unbiased. And there's that too, right? Like, that's why I wasn't knocking serial numbers, because there are reasons why you would do that. I wasn't saying it was stupid or dumb or don't do it, by the way. I'm just saying, I wonder for me if I could keep up with that if it gets too much, because names sometimes, or nicknames, can just make something kind of simple. When I worked at one of my previous jobs, we called one of the people Nightwing, for example. I'm gonna be real, this many years later, I don't actually remember their real name. They were just Nightwing. Some of the employees, I was called Batman, actually, matter of fact, which is why they ended up being called Nightwing. Because I wore my sunglasses all the time. That's it. Which is funny because my glasses transition in sunlight back in like middle school and stuff. So I used to be called Morpheus back then. I'm like, how do we go from Morpheus to Batman? I don't know. But both those dudes are kind of cool. So actually I did have cool nicknames at one point. Plus the first class had like 3 Emmas and 4 Quinns. Okay, so that was also something I was going to bring up. With names, what happens if you have like 17 Johnsons? Well, you could just have a serial number that's specific, and there you go. That's actually, suddenly, it is unique. Right. What about you, lady? What's your name? Well, Angie, how should I respond? I've never worked with children before. You can give them your name, no big deal. The trainees like to call me Dr. Angie. Got it. Then, you can call me Dr. Daedra, if you want. Dr. Daedra. Dr. Daedra. Dr. Daedra. That's a nice name. Has anyone ever told you that? Not, recently. Oh. You want to introduce yourself too? Adorable. Well, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm, Shreya.
Shreya. This is also why I like when stuff is voiced, because then I can hear someone say it, and so I can just be like, okay, that's how I gotta pronounce it. We're locked in now. You got this, Shree. Look, Dr. Daedra is waving it to you. Hello. Oh, yep, my bad. Dang. Alright. I've ruined the life of a child. There is no redemption for the likes of me. Shreya's my roommate. Normally we stick together. If I'm around, chances are she is too. I see. Are you too close? Oh, we're besties. We never go anywhere without each other. Except for class. I wish we weren't in different... Oh, you're in different squads, but you're roommates. Okay, so that takes out what I was saying earlier, because earlier I was mentioning how, like, that could be part of the squad thing and all that. Okay, interesting. Hey, D. Sorry to butt in, but I'm afraid we don't have all the time in the world, unless you want to sip out on the research labs for today. No, I do want to see them. Let me just wrap up here. It's lovely to meet you, CO458 Pavel? Starting next week, I'll be interviewing you. Interviewing me? About what? To be honest, I haven't quite decided yet. But I think I'd like to talk about your hobbies, your classmates, your future, lots of things like that. Oh, I can do that. But I'm confused. Why me? That's a good question. Because I picked you specifically. And why did you pick me specifically? That's the word. Well, you stood out in class. I saw you and thought you'd be interesting to talk to. Makes sense. My teacher says I'm like a dandelion in a field full of roses. That's one way of putting it. But wait, what about your friend? I promise she won't be alone for long. Once I'm not talking to you, you can go back to Shri. S4174. I probably botched that. What do kids do these days? I haven't been around them in so long. Back to playing. Did I guess right? Oh, thank God.
Sound reasonable?
Yeah. It's a deal.
I'm good at making deals. Usually. Kind of. Maybe. Sometimes. I'm good at making deals when I make good deals, except for when I'm not. This place almost looks Orwellian, because those almost look like rooms, but since those are not, it's not quite. But it's giving me our Orwellian architect design situation.
Sorry if I rushed you a bit back there.
Where the central pillar can kind of just look across the other stuff. Or maybe that's exactly what we're looking at. If you don't know what Orwellian is, don't worry about it. Sometimes I like to use big words to seem smart in a world where I might not always actually be that smart at all, and I fear of being left behind due to laziness that I could rectify and then just don't, and so it is ultimately my fault. Sorry if I rushed you a bit back there. I realized I might come across as grouchy earlier. It's just, we've all been working a lot of hours lately. It wears on you, you know? Yep. No, Angie, it's fine. It's not like I was much better in the past. Oh God, don't remind me. When you were taking lead on artificial spleen development, it was like you were in a trance. If I gave you one little tap on the shoulder, you'd snap like a cobra on a rake. Yes, I remember how you put it. Those were long days. By the time we pushed through, I never wanted to see another culture sample as long as I lived. Here. So how do we end up here? So Angie, about those research labs. Right. From here, the fastest route would be the dark tower, the ominous tower that we mentioned in the beginning. Case study report. May 13th, 27X. Somewhere in the 2070s. The roaring 70s. No. The roaring 20s. We're in the roaring 20s. Part 2, I guess, huh? Let me just stop. Initial supervisory report. Though it has been advised as a youth education program, it is now my understanding that the purpose of the Youth Training and Development Initiative is to prepare its trainees for cybernetics enhancements and eventual employment within STOP. Oh. While it is known that biotech synchronization rates are inversely correlated with age, the side effects on individuals below the age of 18 are not fully understood at the time and may be more severe than they would be in an adult mind and body. It has to be, right? Because as an adult, you be like... The way it works, to my understanding, the last time I researched it, don't ask why, is your growth plates close up, basically, by the time you're about 21. Meaning by 21, you're about the height you're probably going to be for the rest of your life. Now, there are, obviously, can be some outliers, but essentially, that's why they tell you to eat well and stuff when you're a kid and stuff. If you want to grow up big and strong, your growth plates aren't closed, you got chances, drink milk, get a lot of sleep. And obviously genetics and stuff can play a role too, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is your growth plates, for example, are closed by 21. The peak of your bone density is around the age of 30. So between 21 and 30 even, I mean, like your brain's still developing until like 26 and stuff like that too. But essentially, kids are still just growing and developing themselves. Their bodies are still doing things. They're not a done canvas. So you really, it's iffy. It's kind of like the simplest example is just buying clothes. Go buy clothes for a 5-year-old. They're going to need new clothes eventually by like age 10. They're going to need newer clothes by age 15. Growth spurt happens in high school. Now they need new clothes before they even graduate, right? Like you got to be careful with that. Now we're talking about cybernetics, implants and stuff that have to now try and grow along with the body that is still also shaping itself. Furthermore, I have ethical concerns about the purpose of the program and how it's That was on purpose. Program and how its participants are selected. As supervisor, it is my intent to observe the YTDI's operations and ensure that the health and well-being of its trainees are properly upheld. As part of my duties, I intend on engaging in a focused case study of trainee CO 485. Wow. To observe his development under the YTDI's curriculum. For compliance purposes, our one-on-one conversations will be recorded. Dr. Daedra Destrange. I was right with the Destrange part. Okay. June 3rd. So we just jump a month later suddenly? Okay. Investigation. Use your mouse to explore Use your mouse to explore Daedra's desk. When the cursor changes to a magnifying glass, you can interact with something. What will you learn about Dr. Destrange? Alright, so there is still things we're gonna do. It looks like. The only thing right now is this note right here. The unstoppable Roachman. I mean, honestly, yeah. Nothing can squish this guy. Nope. Roaches are a different breed. Once Daedra's case study is finished, she'll send these documents to STOP's higher-ups. She hopes her findings will shut the YTDI down. Well, about that. Case study report. June, okay, not bad. It wasn't a month later because it's technically 1 day early, so June 12th. This report makes the 1 month point. Okay, so okay, my bad. I'm being pedantic. Pavel's case study. In this time, I have observed several facets of the YTDI's operation, and I believe that I have a firm grasp on the day-to-day activities of the trainees. The majority of trainees selected for the YTDI come from orphanages. Yeah, that was correct. It just sounded wrong for some reason, because I've just been botching things all day. Upon arrival at the YTDI, trainees are separated into squads similar to the ones utilized by STOP field agents. If that's the case, where was our homies at? If we were a STOP agent in the last game, where was the bird's nest when we needed them? Because that could have went way worse, technically. Like there was like 4 puzzles in one room, and there's at least 4 of us. Then we all take 1 puzzle each. Formal education takes place entirely within these squads and involves tuition in literacy, mathematics, and self-defense, etc. Outside the classroom, trainees have access to several extracurricular activities, including craft work, sports, and video games. Sold. While these activities are beneficial for fostering bonds and growth between you say like, oh, of course, video game. I'm literally playing a video game, and you're watching a let's play of me playing a video game. I have to say sold on video. We're here because of video games, all right? While these activities are beneficial for fostering bonds and growth between children, I find it notable that they overlap within activities undertaken by STOP operatives and the recovery period after the implementation of new cybernetics. This includes suing for hand-eye coordination, video games for reaction speed, etc. Like, people forget that too. Video games are legitimately used for hand-eye coordination. It's just everything in moderation. If it's not done in moderation, anything can be, maybe bad for you. But in moderation, there's a lot of things that are fine. The standard of care appears to be at least sufficient. CO 458 has expressed that it has a significant improvement over its previous lodgings. Still, I have some questions to raise with Dr. Tan later. Dr. Daedra Destrange. Intro. Destrange's diary. Like many academics, Daedra has thoughts about herself and the world around her. This is where she writes them. June 6th. Part of me wants my thoughts to blow with the wind. Putting them to paper will have to do for now. Besides, all the blue light was making my eyes ache. That is true. Gotta be careful of that. The trainees are all orphans. I'm not surprised, but I am surprised that the YTTI isn't much different from a standard boarding school, materialistic dressing aside. Compared to how STOP's first few batches of field agents were housed, and accommodations here are downright luxurious. Still, that's comparing volunteer soldiers to abandoned children. A strange analogy, to put it mildly. And for some reason, the trainees' meals consist of lab script, and only lab script. Why? It's true that lab script contains all the nutrients they need to grow healthy and strong, but it's intended for typically in vivo test subjects. I've seen the size of the budget STOP works with. They can definitely afford to feed these children real food. Maybe it has to do with, like, at least the education is world class. Clearly STOP spending was put to good use there. One time, Angie took me to a literacy lesson. Out of the blue, she asked a trainee to recite a part of King Lear, and the girl belted it out like it was on a switch. I don't know how useful that skill was, but it was definitely impressive. Another time, the two of us watched a teacher taught a squadron-filled pharmacy in the courtyard. If someone eats this mushroom, how would you counteract its effects with only the items in your bags? How long do they have before their airways close? It was intense, to say the least. At times, the teacher's questions felt more like threats. But the building itself is immaculate, practically sparkling. If my shoes tracked dirt as I walked in, it's wiped away by the time I walked out. Even Stop Headquarters doesn't antagonize over cleanliness to this extent. I wish they showed that much care for the trainees themselves, like that boy, CO458. For formal reasons, I can't mention it in recording sessions, but I know his name is Pavel. Was taking his name necessary? Are they that concerned about observer bias? He's an orphan. His name might be the only thing his parents ever gave him, because his parents might be gone, because that's how orphans work. Why scare it away like it's something dirty, a stain to be removed? The boy's lonely too. Yes, Shreya. Why do I just... it's right there. Just read what's on the thing, me. But she isn't part of his squadron, his pre-assigned social group. His squad mates exclude him outside of class. They don't let him play with them, so this is what I mean by that whole keep people accountable, be people's keeper thing. It can have adverse. As often in the Arts and Crafts Center sewing or knitting by himself. It's not much better in class. Kids roll their eyes when he's paired up with them for a group task. Sometimes they'll go behind his back and ask the teacher if they can swap for anyone else. Thankfully, the teachers never concede to see 4, 5, 8 squad mates, but that hasn't stopped them from asking anyways. I think a lot of this could be solved if the kids weren't pitted against one another. All the trainees have their hobbies, but Pavel doesn't have much else. I know he likes superheroes, so I'll bring him some comics from the YTTI's library. Knowing Stop, I suspect the books there are vetted, but there's still a chance I might find something that'll make him smile. Maybe I could even just use it to teach him. It certainly doesn't seem like any of his actual teachers are interested in personalizing the learning experience. Oh, I also brought a pack of stickers for him. Do children his age think grape stickers are cool? What am I doing? I'm no child psychologist. Couldn't even qualify as a pediatrician. I really jumped into the deep end with this case study, didn't I? If I weren't senior Stop staff, I'd probably be sacked by now. Maybe grape is lame. Maybe orange was the way to go. God, I don't know. I like orange. Orange vanilla, like orange vanilla swirled, orange vanilla, swirlsicles, smoothies and stuff like that too. Mango Madness is a great flavor of Snapple. Guess there's only one way to find out. D. Intro. Dangerous computer. An old PC maintained with love. This is where Daedra keeps recorded interviews for a case study. Is that so? What kind of case studies? Interview with CO458. I like this, by the way, too. This is neat. June 12th, 27X. 2077. What does it take to be a criminal? I like the art.
458. I've started recording.
Now do a standing backflip.
Before you fall over from all that wiggling.
Yay!
I'm just super excited. I'm glad to hear that. But could you relax? We're just talking today. Really? Phew. My cheeks are numb from all that grinning. I can imagine. In fact, I think I did the same thing in my school photos. You did? I guess so. Though I stopped because, well, it made me look like a dork. That's pretty harsh. How do you, because they get called it, you still, oh. I was thinking, oh, that's relatable. Alright, kid. Alright, kid. Kids are blunt, though. Kids are blunt and honest, and sometimes it's great. Okay. Have you ever been called something like that before? A dork? No, never. That feels like a lie. Well, maybe a few times. Yeah, I'm about to say. But the other kids don't know anything, so it's their loss. What don't they know? That when I grow up, I'm going to become super famous and super pretty, and I'm going to have 1 billion friends. I'll cross my fingers for you. Anyways, we're starting to veer off topic, and I only have so much time, so why don't I ask you some things? Okay? What do you want to know? For today, I have 3 questions. Pop quiz, huh? Okay. I'm ready to go. Great. Then let me just get my paper out. Here we go. First question, how did you come to join the YTDI? What do you mean? I mean, before you became a trainee. Where did you live? Well, I lived in an orphanage. Side note, small side note. So I started taking art a bit more seriously at the start of 2024 after a bit of a hiatus. Side profiles are my bane. So the fact that the art team here has a side profile of this character and it looks fine, shout outs to the art team for that one, because I can't draw people from the side to save my life in any way. All right? That I mentioned Steam Shell Kid earlier. He's another artist that I respect and talk about art stuff with. He don't like side profiles. Etsuko, meanwhile, she says those are easy, and you know what? That's good. I'm happy for her. But in general, side profiles, hands and feet. So the hands and feet, that's like a common one for most people. Those can be difficult because hands and feet can move in a lot of different ways. So just because you can draw a hand like this, so it doesn't mean you can draw a hand like this or like this. You know, it's like, you know. But a side profile, you would think you draw like you only have to draw like half a face and half a body. What's going on there? But I don't know, something about the way I end up drawing the side of a face, it just looks bad. But this doesn't. So kudos to that team, by the way. Oh, and what was that like? I don't remember much. Like this right here, like that looks perfectly fine to me. I don't remember much, but it was pretty lonely. There weren't many others there. No, there was a whole bunch of us, but we shared rooms and beds and the adults' attention. So you weren't treated as an individual. Yeah, I wasn't. A lot of us ran around and it was pretty noisy, but I was always bored. When it wasn't meal time, school time, or chore time, I was stuck in the common room with most of the others. And because we had to share so much, we fought all the time. Really. Yeah. Like, one time I wanted to play with the Scrattle board, but another girl said I couldn't have it because all I did was trace the board's grid with my fingers. So I said to her, "Nuh-uh, that's how you play Scrattle." And then she said, "You're always doing stuff wrong." And then I made a face at her. And then she pulled my hair. And then, I'm assuming you both got into trouble. Yeah, I always find it funny when characters have like hair on the top of their head and they always, during different emotions, make that do something different. I scratched her and she started crying, so I got punished. I found the rule book later. She was right. I was playing the game wrong. I said sorry, but the way I played was fun too. Interesting. It's kind of like playing a game. Sometimes, like, especially these competitive games, it always used to upset me because I like playing off meta, as they call it in those games, right? Especially because I like experimenting. Okay, not a word. I like experimenting though, and so sometimes I'd find a build on a character and it would just work. If the win conditions worked, it actually was fantastic. The problem when you do off meta stuff in those kind of games though is if you end up getting dumpstered or you end up losing even though you weren't the one that was losing. Let's say you were doing well. Everyone's going to blame you anyways. It's like, well, if you would have just played meta, we probably would have just won. And I'm like, buddy, you're 0-13 at 10 minutes. We were not going to win at that point. No matter what I did. I'm not that good. You know, so I'm saying, like, even if you were doing fine, sometimes that happens. And it's just like, but it's fun having fun with a game. Is it not? Is that not one of the main reasons people play games? Is because they're fun? To veg out, to cool off after a long day of working and commuting, and you just come home and you're like, all right, let's boot up the webcam, let's do a Let's Play. Right? No? Okay. All right. What you're saying is I do the off-meta thing still. All right. That's cool. That's cool. All right. I sympathize, though, because as long as you're having fun and you're really not hurting anybody, that's why it always kind of sucks in those competitive games, because then people make the argument you're hurting people by playing off meta because you're hurting your teammates. Not when it goes well and you absolutely floor the other team because what you've researched and experimented and created is great. Anyways, I'm so sorry. How were you picked for the YTDI? You seem different from the other trainees, at least compared to the others in your squadron. I don't know. One day, these people in white clothes came to the orphanage. They didn't want to play or talk or anything. They just watched us for a week or so. Then this loud person told me and a bunch of other kids that we had a fright. I mean, a bright future ahead of us. You have a fright future ahead of you too. And then they brought us here. You must have come from a world away, huh? I don't think so. I fell asleep on the bus because I couldn't sleep the night before. But when we got here, it wasn't even lunchtime. I see. Let's move on to the next question. Are you getting along with your squadron? Well, I suppose we get along. We're all supposed to get along with our squadron. I guess that lines up with what Angie told me. But, it's okay. You can be honest with me. Okay. Most of my squad mates are boring apple polishers. Woo! I'm using that in the title. Maybe. I gotta think about what I'm gonna make the title for the first game and this game, because I gotta do like the YouTuber thing to make the titles interesting, but I don't want to be obviously dishonest and clickbaity. But that could be funny, because people are like, what the heck does boring apple polishers mean? Well, if you watch the video, you'll know. You have to get into the video a bit. Obviously, if you know the game, you'd know too. We might be using that one. Boring. Maybe I should go write that down. They hate me just because they ain't me. No, that's not what it says. They hate me just because the teacher gets mad at me and makes us all stay in class for an extra 10 minutes. It's not my fault class is 10. Well, they're supposed to stand still for 5, so you're at least messing up 2 times per class if you have to stay for 10. It's not my fault class is dull. It's not like my doodles are bothering anyone. They're not. I promise you they're not, because I doodle too. I told this story already. Long story short, for reasons unknown, I got to get away with writing a whole paper, multi-page, with a cover thing and everything about Naruto in an English class back in like 9th grade. I drew and colored characters on the cover of that sucker. Didn't harm a single person. Teacher did not mind either. It didn't detract from them doing the grading because they have rubrics. That's what rubrics are for. And the rubric didn't say I couldn't draw. It's not like my doodles are bothering anyone. Did you know any of your squad mates back at the orphanage? No. For some reason, I was put in a different squad from everyone else I knew. Squad sorting must be done randomly, trying to avoid pre-established social grouping. Then the clone troopers can't turn on Palpatine suddenly, because they're all brothers. Sorry, just had to jot something down. I'm going to try to not make mini comparisons, because I do want this to be seen as its own thing, by the way. Sorry, but I also think it's always really cool when you can do that. You know, just relate stuff off the top like that. What about your roommate? What do you think of her? Roommate. You mean Shri? Well, she's really quiet most of the time. But once you get to know her, she's really smart and kind. And most importantly, she's my best friend. You told me that when you introduced her to me. Yep. She's also my first friend. And I guess my only one. When class is done, we talk about whatever we want and do things together. Oh, and she teaches me all kinds of stuff. Tutoring? Like a few weeks ago, she taught me how to do my hair. Okay. Huh. So that's why you have a hairband there. Mm-hmm. I wear it all the time now. Is there anything else you do together? Y'all Yu-Gi-Oh battle. You have to. That's what kids, that's what we did back in recess back in day. We bring our decks and we do. I won the Winged Dragon of Ra. I did that. I'm never going to forget that. That's probably my peak Yu-Gi-Oh PvP journey against real actual people, as I won someone's god card. I don't have it anymore. Filling in coloring books. Playing Mary Mac. What, Miss Mary Mac, Mac, all dressed in black, with silver buttons, all down her back. She jumped so high, up in the sky, that... Oh no, do I not remember Miss Mary Mac? Oh! Dressed in black, with her buttons, all down her back. She jumped so high, she touched the sky, and went, she never came back, Miss Mary Mac never came back, That was that. She was gone, Jack. I'm just kidding. A sailor went to sea. Ooh, I remember that one too. Oh, and we read. Though Shira's way better than me at it. Like, way better. I heard the teacher say she was too... I used all my energy on the Miss Mary Mac bit, apparently. I heard the teacher say she was 2 reading levels ahead of the rest of her squad. Wow. That's genuinely impressive. I know, right? She's so cool. Which brings me to my third and final question. When Shira... I'm gonna enroll, and you know, like in college, like there's college courses where you can actually take like a singular class and enroll in a singular, like 10 weeks. I'm gonna enroll in an English class. I promise. Shriya's not around. What do you like to do in your spare time? Swing and knitting. When it's breakfast time, I can do arts and crafts in room and make stuff. And so far, I've made a placemat and a headband and a scarf. I'll show you sometime if you want. Maybe another time. Okay. Just let me know when you change your mind. Actually, there's one more thing I like doing. But the teacher says it's not proper. Shoot. The word's right on the tip of my tongue. I know it begins with the L in... Is it literature? Yep, that's the one. Anyways, I like reading comics. There's a lot less words than Shira's books, but they're full of cool pictures. Shriya, Momia, Banana, Fanafofia, Me, My, Moia, Shriya. There we go. I wish my art was that cool. Same, man, same. I wouldn't stop drawing. Well, you know what they say, right? Practice makes perfect. If you keep going, you'll get where you need to be. I'm one step ahead of you. That's why I doodle in class, so I can get good fast. Is there anything else you enjoy doing? Well, there's lots of stuff I want to try, but... Class and homework's always in the way. Blech. Sorry. I hope you can get more free time in the future. Yeah, me too. So, that's all the questions I have. I think I'm comfortable stopping here. Huh? You leaving already? Yes, I'm afraid I'm still playing catch up with work. Playing? No, you know how like when you're in class and... Oh, I get it. You've got homework too, huh? You seem like a very busy later, Dr. Daedra. More so than usual. But I should have enough time to dig out my Scrattle board. You have a Scrattle board? I do, right beside my, right in my basement. Or was it in storage? Either way, I'll find it. We can play it in whichever way you want. Really? Mm-hmm. You shouldn't underestimate me, though. You're talking to a Scrattle champion. Or, ex-champion. It's been a bit since I last played. Whoa. A Scrattle champion? I really do have to go now. But here, please take this. Consider it a thank you of sorts. Grape sticker. What? What's this? It's a special kind of sticker. If you scratch it... Whoa! Oh, they're so happy. Look at that with a little heart in the... It smells like grapes! Yep. Yep, it sure does. Is it, cool? Thank you, Dr. Daedra. And, thank you for talking with me.
See you next week. Yes?
Keep bringing in awesome stuff like this, and I'll talk to you every day.
You got it. Darn it, I only have like 3 stickers though, so we might need to start bringing in like real grapes at some point. Ah, so then we go and talk, and then we go through these again, huh? So we'll go here first. We'll just go in order. Reread. Okay, so reread. Oh, the phone. What's the phone doing down there? Intro, Dr. Daedra's phone. Sometimes Daedra needs Iris to lend her an ear. As Daedra's former supervisor, what advice can Iris give her? The craft center was nice. I mean, it's got to be a good sign, right? A good sign and a good thing are different matters. Come on, help me out here. Help isn't what you're texting me for, is it? Besides, I'm a lot more concerned about the militaristic conditions you've reported. That can change. Yet every time you critique some part of YTTI, Dr. Tam seems to resist. Angie's always been pretty rigid. She's not a bad person, just very by the books. Dr. Tan is an associate director. She's been around for so long that she writes the book. No one's forcing her to stay where she is. I could have easily been in her shoes, Iris. Not with her scrupulous. I've never worked directly with Tan, but I know her reputation. She's got a savior complex that's dangerous. What? She just wants to help people. I'm sure she believes that, but she works in cybernetics. And when you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. The nail that sticks out gets hammered unless the person with the hammer misses and hits their thumb. You haven't seen her with the trainees. Every time we pass by the group of them, she smiles and waves. She asks how they're doing, and they give her the biggest, sweetest smiles back. Now, that doesn't disprove the savior thing, actually. They don't do any of that with the other researchers. Daedra. She's my friend, Iris. You're one of the brightest people I know. Maybe the best of your generation. So why are you looking away from the truth? You've seen the lab script, the classrooms, the panopticon. Oh, that thing gave me trouble. That thing gave me trouble. I think in the last game, by the later half of the puzzles, they were good puzzles and I enjoyed them. But you're probably just gonna, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen that video. I probably cut to when I was solving a lot of those at like the last couple turns because, whoo, and that thing beat me up. That thing beat me up. You don't owe Town your trust, or anyone at Stop for that matter. They've given their stamp of approval on all of this, and it smells rotten. We can heal that rot, if you say so. I just want to have faith in the colleagues and friends I've worked with for years. We've made the world a safer place. We've made the world the safest it's been in decades, so I'm positive that things will get better, Angie included. Even a genius can't change the mind of someone who's not listening. Yeah, if you're listening but you're not hearing, we can't do things about that. That's why the case study needs to go on. I will make them listen. I will make them all listen. Right. Anything else you want to discuss? You know that trainee I chose to work with for my case study? C0458. I brought him a grape scented sticker the other day. He loved it. Well then, I take back what I said. Sounds like it's all rosy over there. Just you can hear the sarcasm. Just like people say I have sarcasm. This is actual sarcasm. This is what it actually looks like for y'all that keep always accusing me of always being sarcastic all the time. This is what it actually looks like. So you guys can actually have like that comparison. So you know how wrong you are. I say as I read it, but that thing is ominous and dark. And it's also right in the center, which is crazy because you're not going to not notice it then. Something about a giant, thick, girthy pillar is just ominous, isn't it? Especially when it's tall and big and lengthy. Why is it just there? It's like standing at the base of the Space Needle or the Eiffel Tower or the freaking Tokyo Skytree. None of those three buildings are inherently scary, but they can be a little foreboding when you're standing at the base of them. And I'll take them and color them all black. Maybe get rid of most of the windows. Yeah, suddenly you're like, what are we doing here? From the bridge I gaze below at the courtyard. As the sun begins to set, the beams softly tint the YTDI's walls and floors a pale orange. It's comforting. Even the black pillar in the center of the room looks warmer than usual. Never mind. Forget all I said. Warm. I never thought I'd see the YTDI that way. It's worlds apart from my first impressions of it 1 month ago. 30 days of observing classes, conducting interviews, and writing notes, and they felt like seconds. I wonder if it's my age. The older I've grown, the quicker time passes. So yes, by the way, side note, when you're like 5, you've only lived 5 years. So years feel long, because at the age of 5, a year is a whole 20th of the whole life you've lived. So years just are like, when you're in November, you're like, man, Christmas still feels like an eternity away. Because it is to you at that point. When you're even 30, right? A year is only a 30th of your lifespan at that point. So that's why years feel quicker as you get older, because their length starts meaning less and less to the overall time you've been alive. So correct, by the way. That's, well, or at least that's why it seems time passes faster. Technically, it doesn't. Technically, it's passing the same length it always has. But a year is less and less of how long your life's been individually. So a month is even less than that. It just goes. That's why I feel bad to the team when you sent me the email. They sent me the email at the beginning of February. It's taken me the beginning of March to actually get these going. I'm so sorry about that. But also, it just kind of felt like I swore I got that email like 2 days ago, and then I clocked. I was like, oh yeah, that was actually, I need to get on these. Summer, fall, winter, spring, all of it passing while I musing over my impending mortality won't get me anywhere. Oh, are you? Did we just get a hint? Was that just an existential thing overall, or is there? Well, hold on. Well, the YTDI really does look warm right now. If it weren't for other people in the building, I'd go down to the ground floor and take a nap on the grass. Right now, I'm sure some of the trainees are doing the same. Children shouldn't have cybernetics or lab script diets. The YTDI is an affront to my research. Any sane person would agree with me. It's why I'm doing everything I can to shut it down behind the backs of the people who run this program. But I can't object to giving children, unwanted children, a home, an education, a guaranteed future. If they don't have to hunt for scraps or wake up each morning and search for shelter over their heads, as long as they stay here, the YTDI... Once again, Andy's voice cuts my thoughts short. Did I interrupt something? You look pretty contemplative. No, it's nothing. Could have fooled me. Am I that easy to read, Angie? Far from it. I needed a lot of practice. Ha! Guess you got plenty of opportunities to do so. So what can I do for you? Oh, it's something work-related. Not like I have training info to give you anyways. I just want to catch a chance to catch up. You've been here for what, a month now? Would you look at that? 1 month exactly. Lucky guess. Want to take a stroll? They say walking and talking gets the blood flowing. Talking gets the blood flowing? More than standing here staring at nothing. Come on. We got a lot to catch up on, don't we? I like how you have like the lab coat and you have the kind of monochromatic colors with like the hair and the coat and stuff, and then you have like the earrings of a nice like little splash of coloring with the red and the blues. We begin to walk around the bridge's perimeter. Our pace is slow, aimless, lazy even, and our conversation is just meandering. See any films lately? Any takeout places you recommend? I know modern art's not your thing, but I think you'd enjoy this new exhibit, and if you don't, you can pick where we have dinner next time. We chat, my whole body relaxes. This is like the beginning, waiting outside of the stop headquarters, excited to take Angie out for our pre-weekend burgers and milkshakes. We were young, and the world didn't make sense, but our work always did.
Hey, D. D?
I hear Angie calling my name. And my mind snapped back into focus. Back to reality. Oop, there goes gravity. Wait, gravity. No, gravity. Is something wrong?
No. Nothing.
I was just wondering if you were ready to, bring up what was going on earlier. Oh, that. No pressure. If you're not up to it. No, I am. It's just, need a moment. Take all the time you need. Just take a deep breath and think about how to approach this. Actually, can I ask you a question? As a friend. Go ahead. I'm all ears. Why did you end up working for the YTDI? That's a big question. It's one that's been on my mind a lot lately. You saw that classified file, yeah? Pardon me? The one with the summary documents. How did you know about that? A disgruntled employee blew up at us a few months back. Swiped a bunch of files taken out of context and tried to shop them out to anyone who would listen. This was around when you were first curious about the YTDI, right? Yeah. People asked me if I knew about it. Of course, at the time I didn't. Have the full picture? You know those animal rights groups? The ones with the ridiculous PR teams? They demonize undergrads for dissecting rats. Blast the web with oversaturated glory photos, sensationalized blog posts, social media campaigns. So they're not seeing it, so they don't get in trouble, but I'll say PETA. I don't fear PETA. It's not that they fear PETA, but if they put that in, they might get into something. I'm not going to, because whatever. PETA wouldn't dare cross me, because who am I? That's basically where I'm going with this. They actually have like a team, a company and stuff, so they probably can't say that. But we know who they're talking about. It worked. The works cherry pick their information to make normal scientists look vile and make themselves look heroic. But those lab researchers care for those animals like they were their own pets. There's piles of paperwork, elaborate onboarding procedures, frequent inspections on their welfare. Even on a practical level, they discourage their suffering. There aren't any rats at this facility, Angie. Lab rats. Okay, or guinea pigs. Which animal you want to go with, huh? Of course not. Just wanted to make an analogy. You know, people exaggerating things and all that. Ah, okay. Then I apologize for it. No, I'm glad you pointed it out. Don't want you to take anything I said the wrong way. You were going to tell me about why you joined the YTDI. Right. We went off topic, didn't we? Everyone has the right to a bright future. Most of these trainees don't come from pleasant backgrounds. All of them are orphans. Many of them lived in places that couldn't even feed them once a day. So if STOP hadn't intervened, their futures would have been stopped. That's why I think the YTDI has potential, you know? It proves its trainees, or it provides its trainees with housing, a community, a secure life. By giving them a secure life, the YTTI will prevent future crimes. So in the long term, the YTTI will contribute to STOP's ration I can't pronounce words, and now we're putting geometry in words. Just like we put letters in math, we're putting math in letters. I'm sorry, that's probably actually just an actual language, and because I don't know the language, I'm making fun of it by accident, and someone actually speaks it legitimately, and you know what? You're valid. Exactly. In the short term, we're changing these trainees' lives for the better. Still, seeing children receive cybernetic enhancements, that's just doesn't sit right with me. I understand. You don't want to be remembered as the mother of cyborg children, do you? I don't have anything to say about that. She's spot on. We don't do anything here for fickle reasons. Subjects are only ever cybernetically enhanced if we feel that their quality of life could be improved. That file you saw? All those photos? Every one of those children were physically disabled. I saw, but there was a blonde girl, trainee 02154. I remember. Anophthalmia? Anophthalmia. Because the PH obviously, or maybe it's probably not. Her poor vision caused her to struggle in class, so we gave her a new eye. Now her essays are on par with some of the top students in her squadron. I see. Really? New eye? I see? Okay, I see. You're still doing the pun game, too. All right. Some of these trainees came here with congenital defects. Others with injuries from horrible accidents. We only ever use cybernetics to level the playing field between them and their abled squad mates. My shoulders feel lighter. My brow in furrows. I'm relieved to hear that. And I'm relieved to know that my legacy hasn't been completely tarnished. Tarnished.
I want you to know if you have any concerns, you can always come and talk to me. Or just vent, if it's after hours.
Almost feels like old times.
Yeah, we're practically kids again.
Hey, want to come to the arts and crafts room? Wait, isn't it for trainees? So? Most of them are in their rooms right now. Even if that's true, you know I'm not... I'm not expecting the next cloud gate or anything. It's just to decompress. Fine, I'll come. Yes, but in return, I get to pick the restaurant for dinner. Oh, so we're eating out again. By the way, that's a term I use, and some of y'all get on me for it. That is a term other people use too. I'm just saying. Thank you, game. This game is validating me in so many ways. I love it. Just like old times. Just like old times indeed. Red Robin? August 13th. Okay, so we jumped 2 months. So now it's been 3 months total, like a quarter of a year. I miss August 13th, like 2024. And like before then, you know. New case study report. August 4th. Regular conversations with CO458 have continued. Contrary to what I witnessed while observing his classroom, Pavel has been inquisitive and willing to cooperate with my study and one-on-one interactions. It is a firm belief that C0 Pavel's intelligence is not below the norm. Rather, the teaching methods used in the YTDI are insufficient to engage him. What his instructors have labeled as acting out appears to merely be an expression of boredom. Considering the number of children at the YTDI is under its roof, I do not believe that CO458 is the only trainee having difficulty with their assignments. I have noted that his squad's instructors rarely encourage creative solutions to exercise, instead prefer completion of tasks to a set rubric. I brought up rubrics earlier. Standard-based training methods are often produce. Majin Buu was yelling this. Come on. I was gonna say procedure because I'm thinking procedures and surgery and stuff, but yeah, not quite yet. Results that often look good on a spreadsheet, but they rarely result in significant information retention or well-developed critical thinking skill. This happens in real life too, by the way, where there's certain things where it's like it looks good on paper, but if you're not making a curriculum that really engages your students, you will have this situation where, yeah, they're listening and they're hearing you, but they're not retaining anything. There's no way to really practice and really any creative solutions to help people retain and practice the information that they're given. So then to get to a situation where a student's gonna feel like, I wasn't goofing off even. I was paying attention and I still don't feel like I understand this. You gotta be careful when you're teaching. There are good teachers out there. I'm not saying it's like a whole teaching issue and there's no such thing as good teaching. I'm just saying that is a risk though. You gotta be careful. Just because something looks good on paper doesn't automatically is great, because people are different people. On top of this, children with learning disorders are often left behind. What worries me is that Pavel's antics often result in his entire class being punished for his actions. The intent behind the measure is to emphasize that the squad is a unit. A failure of one member's part reflects on them all. Perhaps this is successful in other squads, but in Pavel's case, they all seem to have managed to do this. Do is other him from his peers. Yeah, Dr. Destrange. Danger Destrange. Yeah, so I was worried about. That's what I was worried about. August 12th, 2070. It reminds me of, like, what was it, Delta Squad? Speaking of the Clone Trooper comparison, I think it was Delta Squad. On Camino, those episodes, they were like not the bad batch, because it was actually a bad batch, but they were the ones that were gonna risk getting cut, and then they pulled, Echo Squad, my bad, I think they were called Echo Squad. Y'all that know what I'm trying to say. There was an arc of 3 episodes, and 2 of them became ARC Troopers even. They turned it around, but yeah. It can work in certain settings, and this setting, I don't think it's working, though. I wasn't prepared for the number of trainees who were happy to be at the YTDI. The number of trainees who were overjoyed just because they had clean clothes and sheets. And money doesn't necessarily buy quality, but STOP really isn't cheaping out on their schooling and board. They're practically throwing money at this program, even if the staff sometimes treat the employees carelessly. They can still get better food. My thinking about the food might be because for now it seems voluntarily and to improve lives, but if they start just going full in on, we're just going to start lopping limbs and putting cybernetics on everybody, we need to make sure their guts have a very simplistic food in their system that won't cause problems, say, during a surgery. If we need to go put in some sort of like cybernetic, organ, an appendix or intestine, we don't need, heavy sauced pasta in their guts or something. Maybe that's why, and the rations are actually really good at being filtered in and out during an operational procedure if something happens. Maybe I'm reading into that too much. It could just be like rations, after all, where it's just designed to keep you going. It's not designed to basically be the best. The trainees are given a rigorous curriculum of math, literacy, physical education, and self-defense, but the instruction is cold. Oh, we like the cold. I'm not a teacher, but I know that I only learned to love science because a physics teacher told me I'd be a good fit for a club. If she hadn't shown me personal attention where I'd be now, no amount of punishment could have made me Dr. Destrange. One time, I watched CO458 and his squadron line up to receive the results of their grammar quiz. It wasn't hard for me to guess how each trainee did. Some shied away from their squad mates, others threw their heads back in relief. But Pavel arrived in the front of the line, or when Pavel arrived in the front of the line. What? I have to do another makeup quiz. Oh, Banes of Exist. I didn't have to do that often. I'm not trying to make myself seem like I was a genius in school, but I was basically required to be an A student, right? A's and B's. B's could be okay sometimes. They would always stand for better, try harder next time to get an A, but it happens. I didn't have to be perfect, but makeup quizzes were the bane of existence. They were just never good. They never felt good because there would be times where there was one time a lot of us, like most of the class, didn't do well on a test, and we all felt just bad. The teacher didn't make us feel bad, to be fair, but it was one of those where it's like, dang, we all really felt like we really studied this and we just did not grasp it for this test. The homework assignments we were nailing too, so we don't know where the fumbling happened, but we fumbled the bag on that one. Not hard enough, I'm afraid. The quiz will start at the time I wrote. See you then. No. That's gonna get in the way of my crafting time. Why can't it be? There's no point in throwing a tantrum. You're going to take a makeup quiz at the time I set, whether you like it or not. Now go. It's rude to hold up the rest of your squadron. Again? Alright, everyone. 10-minute penalty. Line up against the whiteboard. Quietly. CO 458. You'll be in the middle. What does that really accomplish? Because if this is a repeating pattern that's happening too, and that's my thing, like if this is repeatedly happening, then it's not effective. And I'm sorry, but for me, if I'm training people, I need it to ultimately be effective. We don't gotta be best friends or anything, but I need to be, what I'm doing needs to actually be able to work, or I'm a poor teacher slash instructor slash trainer, okay? There are different ways to train people. Some people go trial by fire and all that stuff. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if eventually you look at your results and you're not making progress, you might need to rethink your strategy. That's all I'm saying. If this is a repeated thing that happens to the point they got side eyes all the time, maybe we gotta at least one time mix it up. And then if the mix up is even worse, we can always go back. But like, I don't know. Something about this. As CO 458 dragged his feet to the front of the classroom, I watched the other trainees. Some of them rolled their eyes at him. Others gave him a bitter glare. Given the way the teacher pitied the trainees against Pavel, I wasn't surprised they disliked him. To them, he was dead weight to the squadron, an underperforming troublemaker. But there's also that too, right? Where it's like in an actual work environment, like I mentioned in my previous job, we had a weak link, and you know what we did? We got rid of them, and it made things better. Because and I guess that's the thing too. I won't get into specifics because I shouldn't, but getting rid of a weak link when they're actually problematic. If someone's actually just struggling, maybe they just need a talking to see what they need help with, something like that. That's fine. That's totally fine. I don't know. I have some aversion to certain things just because of past experiences. That's the unfortunate. There's a lot of things I talk about, not from ego, but from experience. But then I don't explain that experience, so it just seems like ego, and I get it, but... And to me, he was... Seeing no one help him left an indescribable emptiness in my chest. Children like him aren't dumb. If you treat them this way, they'll learn that their performance determines their worth as a person. I know college students who have found that level of responsibility overwhelming, but these trainees are elementary schoolers. They need coaching to get things through to them. Frankly, I'm surprised there aren't more stragglers. There probably are. They just don't speak up after the first couple times, but that doesn't mean they're not struggling. I acknowledge the YTDI is a new program, and STOP isn't an educational organization. Growing pains are on par with the course. Angie's been listening to my criticisms. She's not stonewalling me, but she's defensive and practiced at it. She's always ready to fire off statistics in response. Half of the trainees are illiterate before they came here. Now, they're that kind of person. Now, 98% are performing above metrics. Those kind of persons, stonewalling is almost better than getting statisticed, because those people always like to be like, and because I got statistics, this is just correct. It's like, I think any of y'all that have dealt with me for any number of time length, know that you could say something and I could try throwing statistics back to you, and that doesn't make me correct suddenly. You know what I'm saying? So you hold on now. Just getting statistic doesn't always. Meanwhile, when I asked about my own suggestions for the YTTI, she claims they're in the queue to be heard. Oh my goodness. Yes. There's a long chain of command to go through. She is listening to me, except when it comes to the use of cybernetics. Angie says they're helping disabled trainees, but she brushes off the side effects as easily as if we were discussing fringe theory in the classroom. And whenever she does, I can't help but wonder how those trainees coping with technology grafted to their bodies. Did they ask for these enhancements? Do I want my research to be associated with these procedures? Well, I try to be patient with Angie for now. Convincing people takes time, and besides, the YTTI has other problems. The trainees sleep in a panopticon. Yeah, that's why, and that's what they escape. That's why we were helping kids escape in the first game using. No matter where the rooms are, there'll be guards and cameras peering inside. So it's Orwellian. It is Orwellian. The game's book shows they have access to are limited to their theme. And I've seen more than one trainee tense up whenever I pass by their dorm's window. I'm sure the staff are miserable too. The guards eat their meals while they're on duty. The teachers' curriculums are stringent. And it's a wonder the researchers can see their screens when they're blatantly ignoring what's in front of them. If STOP wants its own boarding school division or JROTC the ROTC. All right. More power to them. But I wish the YTDI wouldn't be so cavalier with cybernetics, overbearing with security measures, draconian with education. I don't know. The more I think about it, the less I want to write. I hope Angie was right about my suggestions being in the queue. I have this dreadful feeling that change can't come soon enough. D. Wait, no, I wanted to touch I wanted the cell phone. No.
Oh.
Or the computer comes last, basically.
Was it on?
Oopsie. Guess the world will never know the results of our grand Scrattle match, huh?
Because the camera wasn't on. It's quite a shame. Your skills have improved tremendously. But I lost again. Well, I was a Scrattle champion. You just learned this rule set a couple weeks ago. I mean it. You are very good. I think you go toe-to-toe with, Shreya now. Oh-ho? Have you foolish adults finally reevaluated my reading ability? Oh, wait. I don't think Shreya knows how to play Scrattle. Could you teach her? From what you told me, I think she'd make a wonderful player. Maybe. I don't know if I have time, you know? What do you mean? Did something happen? The makeup? Can I tell you a secret? Okay. So my teacher asked me to stay behind in class. I thought he had spotted me drawing again, but he told me I didn't have to study anymore because one of the researchers had talked to him. That's strange. What did they tell him? Well, they said I'm going to go through my first processing. Processing? What is that? I don't know. None of us know. I mean, I know that everyone gets processed eventually, and that process trainees graduate, and that when you graduate, you leave the initiative. That's rather vague. That's what I said. They must be hiding something. I don't know what's going to happen to me. When I think about it at night, I can't sleep. It makes my skin all prickly. But you want to know what's really strange? None of my squad mates are getting processed with me. Is that unusual? Yeah. We always see other trainees leave in processing for groups of 2 or 3 or 4. Never one. C0. I'm not stupid. I know why I was picked. It's because I doodle in class. Because I forget my homework. Because when it's time for group projects, none of my squad mates want to work with me. And because whenever I try to talk to somebody, they always act so tired. My squad, the other trainees, even my teachers. I know they want me processed. I sense it, even when they don't speak to me. Because they all hate me. I don't think that's true. Shreya doesn't hate you. She's in a different squad. She doesn't have to be around me when we do class. If she was getting punished, if she was always getting punished because of me, well, I like you too. How about that? You're saying that because of your case study thing. No. No. I mean it. You're a talented artist. Your excitement is infectious. You're much smarter than people give you credit for. And I think you're lovely just the way you are. Can I ask you something? Go right ahead. Could you visit me as soon as my first processing is over? Of course. I mean, my case study requires it. Pinky swear? Pinky swear. And if you break your promise? You can, break my finger? Huh? Really? Oh, that's... I got your attention. No, that's not how it... Please don't. But it will come back for you. I will come back for you no matter what. I just realized my camera's probably blocking some of the text. In hindsight.
Promise.
Computer always goes last. Daedra, did you censor anything from your talks with Tan? From what I read, she's far from honest. Angie isn't some zealot. She's a brilliant scientist and a dear friend. I just need a little more time to get her on my side. It's been 3 months. When I said she was rigid, I wasn't kidding. But, you know, talking to her made me think, if we rebuild the YTDI from the inside out, it could be a net positive for children everywhere. 4 months ago, you were afraid the YTDI would leave you with a foul legacy. That your research on cybernetics sync rates could make you the mother of cyborg children. Now you want to rebuild the YTDI? If they got rid of the cybernetics, I'm confident that STOP could turn the YTDI into a competent institution. Competent institutions don't feed kids lab script. I'm not going to burn everything down for a better future. So this is where Iris is a little bit off to me, because what they're basically, what D is basically saying here is, if we could basically get rid of the bad parts, there are some good parts here that's worth keeping. You know, sheltering orphans, feeding them and stuff like that. So yeah, okay, you don't feed them lab script, then we'd feed them better. Obviously, that's the point they're trying to make, is hold on a second. We don't got to scorch earth this whole thing. We just got to cut out the bad parts. It's why, even though I usually never use that analogy myself in games, why something like a character, when they're broken or overpowered, people will say that they're cancer. Now, if you've ever dealt with cancer or even dealt with a relative or anyone that has cancer, no, Yasuo is nothing even close to the experience. But their reason for using that label is because what they're saying is it needs to be cut out of what otherwise is fine. So I feel like Dr. Destrange here is trying to be like, hey, maybe everything doesn't need to be cut away, and Iris is like, nope, what about this, this, and this? It's almost like not quite the statistic thing, almost getting stonewalled. It's not incompatible with what you want, Iris. Think, Daedra. STOP is a security organization, not a charity. They offer peace of mind for sale. They do anything to keep the world leaders lining their pockets. Why else would they be enhancing children except for their own benefit? They only give cybernetics to physically disabled trainees. I doubt those trainees asked for them. This argument is unproductive, Iris. Look, let's say the YTTI was shut down tomorrow, like you clearly want it to be. Where would all these trainees go? Who else would have the resources and the will to take them all in? STOP didn't make the YTDI with kind intentions, I can tell you that much. Don't be so conspiratorial. Like, that's what there is a good point here. Who's going to shelter all these kids? Maybe somebody, but right now, the YTDI, even with its negative hangings, does have the resources to successfully take care and shelter these kids indefinitely. So I do think Iris does have points, though, that you can't be blinded by stuff, and you gotta focus in, you gotta lock in. But I think Dr. Lestrange here has leveraged some good points that, well, what if? Don't be so blind, said the blind, because that's what I saw kind of where I am right now. I'm a little bit biased, and I probably shouldn't be, but I'm a little bit biased because they're making points that are just being ignored, and I hate that when that happens in a conversation. Your research built the foundations for this program. I know. Then speak up. Or I guess the phone goes last? Okay, I don't actually know how to make sure I get everything. August 29th? Uh-oh. We're in the same month still. The processing. That's the thing too, right? Because like if someone's arm is basically giving out on them and they get a cybernetic, even if they didn't ask for it, would they hate that? Like my vision, I wear contacts and glasses, but I wouldn't want to get cybernetic eyes. I'm actually fine just popping in contacts or glasses. So I am interested to see how that goes. He's in processing. I won't get to see him for at least another week. I thought there'd be more time. He's still so small. Is there anything you know about processing, Iris? Please tell me it's only skin deep. I'm sorry. I never oversaw any of the projects directly. By the time the YTTI was founded, I was already on my way out. Surely you have something on this, Iris. I know you. You keep tabs on everything. Yeah, don't be shoddy now. When you know that person in the group that their thing is intel and they're not telling you something, there's something going on then. Not that they're in on it, but you know they have intel. So they're not telling you for like maybe one of two reasons. They're not trying to hurt you, which is kind, but let me be hurt. Hurt me and make me feel safe at the same time. Or two, maybe they actually don't know and their intel isn't that deep. Yeah, not on this. Processing is kept under especially tight wraps at the YTTI. As you've guessed, it is a step related to cybernetic enhancement, but beyond that, I should have done something. I should have used my authority, my expertise to intervene before it was too late. Instead, I just stood by the sidelines. I never even raised my voice. I know I've been critical sometimes. Harsh even, yeah. But I think this would have gone ahead anyways, no matter what you did. Really? From my impression of these people, definitely. How encouraging. Listen, I was given a polite exit, but your name still carries weight at stop. Your case study is compelling and detailed, and I have no doubt that the little boy is going to be more than happy to see you once again he's out of there. You just need to save your strength for the right time. And when that time comes, don't take no for an answer. Thank you, Iris. I just hope I'm not too late. Oh, we can't use the computer. Okay. Case study report. August 14th. Focus study of C0 or CO. I think that's a 0 because it's skinnier. O is a bit wider, right? So it's C0 458. Is on hold with the subject undergoes processing. Observations of Pavel's former squad have continued in the meantime with little to report. Without Pavel's presence, the class time is quiet and proceeds evenly. Conducted short-term interviews with trainees in his cohort. Anxiety and future graduation is high. Currently seeking clearance to visit Pavel in recovery. Will update when I have an opportunity to do so. Dr. Lestrange. Oh no. August 20th. Where could CO, or maybe O, 458 have gone? The security board told me that it would be at least another week before he'd return. Of course, they didn't mention anything about processing. It sounds scientific, but it could mean practically anything. And if it happens to involve cybernetics, no, there's only so much they can do before puberty. It should be minor. Maybe even... I mean, processing could just be like, we're going to put you through like the fitness gram pacer test and just see where you stack up on certain things, and nothing actually physically is happening to you outside of physical working out. Why am I still trying to rationale this? I deferred to stop and all of its excuses despite having the proof right in front of me. They want to use my research to modify children. Why? I don't know, and frankly, it doesn't matter. If the YTDI really was serving the greater good, why have Angie and her coworkers act so evasive, so secretive? I can't afford to be humble or gracious or cowardly anymore. I know more about cybernetics than every other researcher in the department put together. This is my stuff, and yet I allowed myself to be cowed. I acted respectfully. I never caused a scene, because I cared much more about appeasing Stop than doing the right thing. I can't look away anymore, so they shouldn't be able to either. I'll finish my reports. Thrust it in their faces, make them see what they've wrought. I'll be diplomatic, even if it means biting my tongue, and I'll write this. All cybernetics have limitations. If CO458 is being modified, the most they could do is enhance its optic nerves. Still invasive and perverse, but once he's endured the anesthesia and intense PT regimens, it ultimately won't affect his daily life. They wouldn't risk harming a valuable young subject with anything more extreme, unless they don't like the dude. Then they would. Oh, you're an outlier. We're gonna do some outlying things. I don't like that. Hopefully the worst will be over. Pavel's still alive. Once he's gone through processing, I'll make every effort to place him in an environment better suited for a child his age. But first I need to think of an appropriate recovery gift. Something I can fit in my lab coat pockets. D. Oh? Wait a minute, what's this? What's this? Wait a minute. Oh, Shreya? No, they were S4. Right? No. Right? Were they? I don't remember. I think they were S4 174, not S1 174. Or maybe they were. This is what I mean. Okay, it is them. So I don't know anything. Thank you for speaking with me. I'm sorry, by the way, about how sudden all this is.
It's okay.
Oh.
I can always do my homework tomorrow morning.
I thought I might not finish before class starts. Your teachers already know about your interview today. They agreed to give you an extension. I didn't know they gave extensions. They've never given them before? No. In my squad, you're supposed to move at the same pace as each other. Like a flock of birds, right? So some extension for someone who falls behind is, from what your teachers have told me, you seem like a leader among your squadron. I got the impression that they didn't expect a missed assignment to deter you. Does that make you feel better? Understandable. Good. Then please introduce yourself.
My name is Trainee S4-174.
You told me your name the first time we met. So why not now?
I didn't want C0-458 to feel alone.
I see. What was your life like before you joined the YTDI? You don't have to talk about it if it makes you uncomfortable. Yeah, don't worry about it. It was very far away from here. I see. Thank you. I'll move on. Question 2. Are you getting along with your squad mates? Honestly? Please. Honestly, I feel like I'm trapped inside glass. My squad mates see me. They know I exist, but they don't know how to reach me. And to be honest, I don't know how to reach them either. It probably doesn't help that they're weirded out by my arm. Yeah, I noticed that at the beginning when I was like, oh. None of my squad mates are missing anything. But that doesn't stop kids in other squads from getting along. Maybe there's something wrong with me. No, we're not about to do that. Maybe it's that lady. The one with the messy hair and the dangling earrings. Ah, Angie. Dr. Tan. What is she? She likes to meet with me after class. Ask me how I'm doing with homework. Have me write or carry things for a few minutes. Sometimes she'll take a roll of measuring tape and wrap it on my arm. And if I do well, she'll pat my head and give me candy. I thought candy was practically contraband around here. She's sizing me up for a cybernetic, just to let you know. I don't mind any of that, but every time Dr. Angie takes me aside, she and my teachers tell my squad mates to follow my example. And I think some of them are jealous of that. How do you feel about it? Sick to my stomach. I don't like working. Well, that makes one of us. I'm not gonna lie. I love working. I don't like being in the spotlight. That's a bit more fair. I don't need to be main character. I don't necessarily like, oh, I'm just a side character, but I mean, I don't need to be the main character either. They call me a hard worker, but I'm just trying to escape notice. Just trying to avoid arguments, fights, the other kids, people pleasing. But my squad mates drag me into their messes anyway. They want Dr. Angie's attention. They want to be praised. They want candy, and they all want to be someone's favorite. My class scares me, Dr. Daedra. You don't have to talk about them anymore if you don't want to. Please. Well then, what do you think of CO458? CO458. I like him. He's my best friend. He told me the same thing. That makes me really happy. When I first came to the YTTI, he was my assigned roommate. As soon as I entered the room, he marched over and swung his hand up to greet me. He had this big goofy grin on his face. I've never seen it before. Strangers that act friendly. Bad people with fake smiles that are trying to get something from you. And I didn't know what he wanted from me. So for the first few weeks, I tried to avoid him as much as possible. Finding a quiet corner in the library. Hiding in a bush in the middle of the courtyard. I thought he'd get tired of it after a couple of days, but somehow he'd always find me anyway.
One day, I couldn't stand it anymore. So I just asked him, "Why do you keep bugging me?" And you know what he told me?
What did he tell you? What did he tell you?
You look lonely. I want to be your friend. He wasn't hiding anything. He didn't want anything from me. Somehow, I could just tell he was sincere.
And that's how you two became close? Everybody wants a friend sometimes, don't they? Some people could be just fine alone, but that doesn't mean they would mind having people, you know? After that, I stuck with CO458 whenever I could. Playing games with them, writing stories together. Sometimes we just sit in silence and read books from the library. I have a lot to pop. CO458. Because of him, my dorm's the one place I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells. But is something wrong? Do you know that they took him? The camera? Mm-hmm. It's a standard model. Video, but no audio. There's no need for you to worry. It won't pick up on anything we say. Really? But in class, we're told they have microphones. Some of them do, technically. But the mic's limited in range, so it'll only record poor quality sound. And since fixing poor sound is expensive and time consuming, Stop usually keeps the mics off. I see. You want to continue? I'm worried about CO458. Maybe CO548 is in trouble too. You've been watching over him, right? Yes. So you've seen how they treat him in class? Yes. If you stay a bad student, you'll get a nasty punishment, one that'll change your life forever. That's what everyone whispers. Processing. When I first heard the rumor, I was terrified. I didn't want CO458 to... Not after everything he did for me. So, I tried helping him after school. I taught him how to concentrate in boring classes, or fake it. We read through textbooks together. I even wrote him sheets of study notes. But no matter how hard he tried to get better, he kept getting picked on. Even though he was improving, they kept singling him out and then he told me that he was getting processed. Do you know what that means? No. But after he said it, he didn't want to look at me anymore.
They took him away last week. Without him, everything's so quiet.
The silence is louder than loud could ever be.
He's not flipping through comic books, or scribbling on his desk, or rummaging through my box of hairbands.
Oh.
Am I a bad friend for thinking he's being punished right now?
Why would that make you a bad friend? It's not like you said, oh, here he is, come get him. Right? Like, processing to what I'm thinking processing can be a punishment. Because I don't think they're being kind to him. I wish I knew what to say. Aren't you a doctor? Don't you know what's happening to him? I'm sorry. I'm as much as in the dark as you are. But knowing CO 458, I'm sure he'll be okay. He's a strong boy. You think so? I know so. He is the center of my case study after all. I hope you're right. I think I'll conclude our interview here. You look tired. Do I? Honestly, you look like you're about to fall asleep. Maybe. Would a parting gift cheer you up? I have a pack of scented stickers. Here, choose whichever one you want.
Thank you, but I'll be alright.
You don't want one? I thought they were cool.
Don't worry about me. Dr. Angie has me covered.
About that.
Save them for Pavel.
Yeah, Pavel might need them after this processing. And it's apparently the first processing, so there's going to be more? And his optics might be on the line. Interview with CO 458. Is this post-processing? Are they back? Or this isn't... Oh, it is. Okay, because they were gone for a week, and so now they're back. Okay. Externally, they look the same. Open their eyes, though.
Good afternoon, CO 458.
I see you're back from processing.
Dr. Deidre?
Okay, their optics look the same.
You came!
You sound surprised. I promised you I'd visit, didn't I? Or you just really wanted to break a finger. Yeah, but... Oh. Yeah, they didn't zoom out. Okay. Where'd their legs go? What processing could have went down that they decided to lop those? It's been a really long week. Yeah, it looks like it. I kind of wondered if you'd forgotten. Never. What's this on the floor? Oh, it's a puzzle piece. Shreya was working on finishing it while I was gone, but when I was wheeled back in, it got trampled on. Shree wasn't happy about that. I can imagine. Here. I got you something. I figure you need to pick me up after processing. Fruit Gushies. That sounds good. There's some snacks from outside. I promise they taste nothing like script. I don't think I didn't know they made food so colorful and tasty. Glad I picked out something good. So, what have you been up to since processing? Just resting? Well, I'm trying, but Shree keeps bringing me classwork. I thought I didn't have to study anymore. That's very rude of them. I'm sorry, CO 458. You know, I've been thinking. You don't have to call me that. You can call me Pavel. For the sake of the case study, I really shouldn't break protocol. Did you break protocol for the gummies? Alright. I'm sorry. Pavel. Pavel. Have I been saying it wrong this whole time? Yup. Much better. Is having a proper name important for you? Indeed it is. It's a big deal for you too. Not just anybody gets to call me by my true name. Oh? Yeah. It's like I'm letting you use it. You and Shriek, no one else. You're my inner circle. You get to know my secret identity. Like a superhero, huh? Exactly like a superhero. Got it. I'll keep it hush-hush then. Have you been outside this room since processing? No. When I said I was bedridden earlier, I wasn't exaggerating. Thanks. You always get the right word for me. Yeah, but yeah, being bedridden, it's really starting to bug me. It's like I've got a house cold. You mean cabin fever? Whatever. They're the same thing anyways. Then what happened during your processing? Well, I was kind of like getting my teeth cleaned. Like one moment I'm laying in this long hard table. They got this big light over me. It kind of looked like a spider with a bunch of eyes and legs. The light was super bright underneath, and I was surrounded by these doctors in white uniforms and masks. I was told to count down from 60, so I did. But then I fell asleep before I could finish. Then I woke up and... Yeah. What? What happened? Was there something wrong with your legs? Yeah. Oh, you didn't clock that immediately? The shape wasn't there. The legs, they're gone. Wrong? No. Nothing was wrong with them. But now they can give me better legs. You know, an upgrade. Better ones? Your legs weren't done growing to know if they need to be better or not. That's the problem. I'll be able to run faster or jump higher. You might have already been able to do... We don't know. That's the problem. That's the problem. If your legs were deteriorating, like they didn't tell him because to terrify him, but they take her later at the side, like, all right, so here's the thing. The bone structure of these legs, we're not going to make it to like the age of like even, 15. They were going to deteriorate away and he wouldn't be able to use them. He wouldn't be able to walk. The kneecaps were going to go before he could drive a car. Now, we don't want to tell him that because we don't want to make him think the rest of his body's on the same course. But that was actually what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, when there's... we know the limits of your body, even though your body hasn't reached its limits yet. Bop, bop, that's permanent. All right. Anyways. As someone that likes to run, too, I take issue with that. Like, a real superhero, you know? I mean, Cyborg's pretty cool, though. Really, it's okay. If I just practice hard... I believe you, Pavel. You don't have to move. Please. You're very brave. Do you know that, Pavel? Pavel? Of course I'm brave. Brave like a hero. Here. Hide these under your pillow.
Make them count. I'll be back in a week.
Promise? See you again, Dr. Daedra. Oh, you will. I'm not happy and I'm not even there. Shame. I can't be part of this. No one should be part of this. Not enough. It's not enough to leave. The fact that anything like this could happen in a modern facility. Maybe it was always naive to think that one case study could fix stop. Or stop. But if so, what then? What now? Iris? Yo, bell Iris immediately. Yeah, I had a feeling. I had a feeling he was going to lose something. September 9th. All right, so about a week, about 10 days later. What, August is 31 days? About 11 days later. Phone first. We need the bell. I've got my 2 weeks notice lined up with Pavel's estimated graduation. The moment he's out of the system, I'm taking him and leaving. Smartest thing you've said in a while. Do you have any concerns? It's possible that they won't let him graduate. Promises for services rendered don't mean much to people who manipulate children. And if my case study is half as explosive as I'm hoping it to be, it's not the kind of thing that Stop will let circulate for long. There are plenty of people out there willing to listen to you. Not after I slander an internationally beloved crime-fighting organization. We don't have friends in PR or allies in the media. It'd be easy to paint me as another disgruntled former employee, disappointed with the lack of direction in her career and looking for a book deal. Sorry, Daedra. I wish I could tell you that won't happen. But even if things do go... So I kept writing this as Doggo. That's not Doggo. My eyesight, you know. Allow me to give you a silver lining. When Pavel gets out, and he will, you can bring him here. The place from the first game! Iris. Once upon a time, it was a garage. Then, it was an unrealized research lab with some living quarters. Now it's yours. It's no 5-star hotel, but it's not too bad this time of year. It's even, there's even a river nearby. I don't know what to say. You're just giving that to me? What did you expect? I'm a wealthy woman with very few hobbies. I would have ended up renting it out even if I remembered. It was there. Much better for you two to get some use out of it. Thank you, Iris. I really mean it. I already owe you so much. Hey, the place isn't that big. I'll keep that in mind. You'd better. I don't want to hear any complaints about it being cramped down the line. Stay safe, Daedra. I'll try. Case study report. September 3rd. I'm absolutely appalled by the Youth Training and Development Initiative decision to perform major amputation on the trainee C0458. Improvement in synchronization rates is irrelevant. This technology is only ever intended for use in adults, save for rare exceptions. The relative static state of an adult's body allows for easier construction of prosthetics, and we talked about this, and only mentally mature individuals can reasonably be expected to endure the inevitable side effects of cybernetic implantation. Phantom? Let me be clear. Rejection symptoms are not a risk. They're an inevitability. Anemone. For all the advancements in biotech over the past few decades, there have not been enough to stop the body from revolting against artificial neurons when they're stitched into its muscles, or from realizing that the hunk of polyurethane and silicone in its skull is not part of its gray matter. Medication can suppress the body's immune responses and stave off seizures, but it is a patch, not a long-term solution. Despite these facts, Pavel was approved for a full transfemoral amputation and implant preparation procedure. I cannot conceive of a scenario that justifies the callous removal of 2 completely healthy limbs from a young child. The fact remains that Pavel's quality of life has been significantly impacted for no reason beyond YTTI's goals. If this is the level at which YTTI is allowed to conduct itself, then it is clear for me that STOP has become little better than the organization it once worked to quash. There is no theoretical threat or future crime that justifies what I've witnessed, and this is what my research is now supporting. Then I would rather have never pursued it in the first place. Yeah. September 3rd. They took his legs. As if stripping him of his name wasn't enough, they ripped his legs off his body. Why? I can't think of any good reason for this. Pavel, sunlight that he is, said that they planned to give him better ones. He even tried to prove it in spite of the pain. The worst part is, it's not over. He hasn't graduated yet. The last time I tried to visit him, he'd been taken back for further processing. Oh boy. I had to find out from Shira, of all people. The guards barely seemed to care. Asking about his absence was like asking about the garbage been taken out by the day earlier. Someone else did the work, so they didn't need to know. They said all of this while looking at me with that expression they always wore on. duty. One of malice, superiority, contempt. Funny how they press the kids to be smiling, obedient, while the adults look like bored children. When I entered the room, I noticed a distinct coldness in the air. Shreya looked awful. Had she been eaten properly? She seemed so frail. If she was taken to the operating table now, her chance of survival. I had to leave Stop, and the YTZ had to go with me. I don't want this, any of this, to be my legacy. The mother of cyborg children. As if. What's an academic supposed to do against an intergovernmental organization with limited resources and an ever-growing supply of cybernetic muscle? Maybe I can follow Iris's example. This case report will be my indictment of Stop. My voice should still carry enough importance to damn it on my way to the door. But if I try to make an impact with my exit instead of leaving quietly, what will happen next? If I say anything about those cages the kids were kept in, the courts will bury me, and if I hope that Stop doesn't single me out extrajudiciously. And if they do, I have to kiss my future academic opportunities goodbye. But so what? They can't expect me to keep quiet after everything I've seen. The one conversation with Angie still makes my blood boil. You are observing a physical education class. The kids were told to run laps to the point of exhaustion. And knowing YTZI, they probably were forced to run past that point for research purposes. Well, that sounds like kill time back in track and, back in the days when I ran track practice and stuff. While the teachers were tending to them, Angie leaned over and whispered to me, "Look how strong they're growing. Healthy and smart and tough as nails. Isn't it incredible?" Then she looked at the back ranks and soured. "But they're still stragglers. Gotta iron out all them kinks eventually." After she said that, she turned back to me. If the squadron were enrolled in public school, some PSHE teacher would be calling them by now. None of them would ever know how much they could achieve with just a little more pressure. With just one more push from someone who knows how much. Why? I literally just counted that because that's what happened. Okay, so here's the thing. There is a difference between being like a stern teacher and being like a strict teacher. I know it doesn't sound like there's a difference, but there is a way to be stern and blunt and stuff as a teacher and still not absolutely bury failures. Because again, it harkens back to, well, ultimately you want all these people to succeed. That's the goal when you're a teacher or something like that, right? You can have different teaching methods, but there's still a way to be like that middle ground, I guess, if you want to be where you're not too, coddling, I guess, but you can still push people, but in a way that makes them feel like it's a goal to achieve. It's something to go for, because we can be better, not because we're pathetic. So, back in school, I knew this kid, born with a hole in their heart, maybe some large ASD. They had it rough, but they persevered. Didn't pity themselves, had pride. But the teachers insisted on coddling them, waiting on them hand and foot, carrying their books, giving them extra exam time, letting them skip psych ed. The adults around them let their condition define their life. By the time they graduated, we graduated, I barely recognized them. Ended up more ghosts than person. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't let them fail themselves like that. Does she think we're still friends? I've been speaking to her less and less. By now, she's basically talking to herself, and I hate seeing her inner ugliness rear its head. As soon as Pable's healthy enough to graduate, I'll make my move. But I'm not leaving Stop without him. D. Oh. We're gonna have to get a little bit explosive. Uh-oh. 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 September 9th, 27X. In red. Gotcha.
Whoa, D.
Whoa-dee-whoa.
There's a fire drill going on?
Sure is. What? Oh no, I was just looking for Pavel. I can't find him anywhere. Pavel? Who's... Oh. CO458. Well, it's okay. I'm certain he's around somewhere. I mean, it's very safe here. It's not like he could have just wandered off. Really? Of course not. And yes, it is very safe here. There's no danger at all. It's just what? I'm not convinced that any of this is necessary. We're talking about the processing. For starters, D, post-op is never going to look pretty. You know that. You've seen it thousands of times. On soldiers, volunteers, adults. You didn't see this. You didn't see the places we pulled these kids out of. Filthy, overcrowded, underfunded. This facility is very clean and very well funded. That doesn't make it right. Whatever your justifications are, I'm not sure I appreciate your tone. We've been nothing but transparent with you from the beginning. We've given you complete access to our building, our resources, even our subjects. I had to fight for you, you know. And so you think you're owed. Then why wasn't I notified about Pavel's processing? Maybe you weren't on the right mailing list. All right. There are no conspiracies here, D. You of all people had to have known exactly what the initiative's goals are. Angiite. Look, I'm not in the mood to argue medical ethics with you in a goddamn hallway. CO 458's in recovery. He's fine. What? How?
This isn't some back alley surgeon for hire operation. We know what we're doing. Do you?
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're doing. And now I think it's time to do something about it. You might not be happy that I did.
Awful? Are you?
Yeah, if there's already a dripping IV bag of blood, we're not gonna like what we're about to see. You're not gonna like what you're gonna see. Oh God. Your head, your hair, your eye. It's
Dr. Deidre?
Pavel, wait. They messed him up. I've got you. Just stay right there. They were going to experiment on this one because they don't like this one. I knew that was coming. Also, the first game. Has anyone been here to take care of you? Oh. Well, I think so. Shriya's been here at least here at night a few times. Hasn't said much though. I pretend to be asleep because I think she might be scared of me now. She's probably worried about you. I'll go and talk to her, okay? Okay. I really don't want to upset her. You don't have to worry about upsetting anyone, okay? You haven't done anything wrong. How are you feeling? I don't know. Tired and weird. It's all right. I'm scared. My graduation is soon and I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. What else they'll do to me. Just close your eyes for me, okay? Pavel? He's asleep. Yeah. Yeah, they did some work on him this time. They're going to tear him apart. Rearrange him again and again. And not just him, all the other trainees here. All the other children yet to come. Over and over and over. And for what? This is my fault. My research laid the foundation for this. My reputation funded this. I let this happen. I did this. There has to be something I can do. No, I have to do something. Something more than writing words on a goddamn page. That's it. I'll break him out, prevent him from graduating, and burn this program down to the ground as we leave. At this point, this isn't even a call for justice. It's just plain cause and effect. Uh-oh. Phone first. You think I'm doing the right thing? I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I just want to get Pavel out. Aren't you doing precisely that? Yes. But there's this growing list of asterisks. I can't save the other children. The numbers just don't work. And how does that make you feel? Like garbage. Where will they go? They know nothing about the real world. Kids are tougher than you think. Not tougher than stop. You'd be surprised. They'll adapt. That doesn't make me feel any better. I doubt anything could right now. What about a confession? I wanted all of this. The recognition, the respect, the budgets, the pay. You know, before I came to Stop, I took 5 internships in one summer. Barely got my foot in the door before I added them to my CV and never looked back. And? We all do. That's the game we play. I liked playing that game. I was good at it. And there's a sizable, cowardly portion of me that doesn't want to give it up. And do you worry about Dr. Tan and the rest? Despite myself, yes. That's just the kind of person you are. In case we don't get the chance to reconnect for a while, let me say this. Every system falls apart eventually. It's entropy. Forest fires are natural and healthy. Stop is no exception. If people are horrified by your findings and your methods, that's for the best. They'll quit. They'll leave in droves. And you have gotten them out of a dark hole. And if I hurt people, then you'll just have to make up for it. And the kids, they'll be strong. Even if their new lives aren't cushy or clean, they'll be lives they choose for themselves. Again, that's not reassuring. I know. Very little is right now. You have a lot to answer for, D. You're already a history maker. From here on, I'm sure you'll be making history in a good way. Try to remember that when you eat breakfast with Pavel. Then, is this goodbye? It has to be. But you'll be in my home. I'll be there in some way. Was Iris who was being talked to? We were going to the first game and Dr. Danger's recordings would play, but it was clearly not for us. Was it for Iris? Is that what we're learning right now? Because it was their home? In fact, the sheets might still smell like me. Iris, gross. Apologies, couldn't help myself. But you don't need me anymore. You'll do good. You always have. Thank you. Take care now. You were always my star pupil, Daedra. I'll trust you remember me as your mentor and friend. Hopefully you're retired and peacefully bird watching. Goodbye. I'll miss you, Dr. Kai. Were we talking? Was that for them? Oh, I've died. I need you to go take care of them. Case study report. September 9th. I met with Pavel today. Engaged in normal conversation activities with the subject. Pavel became tired shortly into the session, so the visit was cut short after an hour. Pavel's temperature and blood pressure appeared to be higher than normal levels during the visit, recommending an increased in immunosuppressant dosage. Recovery otherwise appears to be on pace with expected timeline. Dr. Destrange. September 9th, 2070X. I'm going to destroy my life's work. That's all that needs to be said. They'll have to update the textbooks. A small footnote at the bottom of the page on the back of the index. Dr. Daedra Destrange went on to commit multiple terrorist acts. We in no way, shape, or form approve of her blah blah blah. Fine by me, as long as they leave my name in. A curious kid might search for that crazy lady's name on the internet, find a case report written by her, and give it a read. Better a pariah who speaks the truth than a diligent researcher who can't stand to look at it. As I walk through the YTDI's halls, my stomach drops whenever I pass the spots I'll rig. Though the guards just stand around and glower at the kids, they're still combat-ready professionals. More than a match for little old me. If they ever catch on to my plan, they could drop me before I enter the building. Funny, I haven't feared others being able to hear my thoughts since I was in college. I remember feeling guilty when I learned about thermal runaway on lithium batteries. When I realized how easily this knowledge could be reapplied, I was convinced that there was something wrong with me. Maybe I was right back then. Compared to my usual work, making bombs is dead simple. I spent most of my time planning on how I'd space out the fertilizer purchases. Looking back on it, smuggling Pavel snacks made for a fine trial run. I have surefire proof that the guards won't check me. So why am I so anxious? If it's not my legacy, it's not the process itself. Am I afraid of what happened to Pavel after this? I can house him thanks to Iris. I have money. I can cook, but there's still so much I don't know about Pavel. How can I care for his medical needs? How can I educate him? Will freeing him doom him to a life of hiding? And Shreya, and the other children, and every other poor soul that's been victimized by this program. Where will they go once I'm gone? Or were we talking to Shreya? Maybe after some time has passed, they were reached out to by Dr. Destraint because she would know them. Definitely wasn't Angie. They wouldn't be free to leave, not with stop on their tail. They should move from one spacious cell to a cramped one next to the river. Still. I'll never forgive myself if I let Pavel behind. My research led to him getting hurt. I won't let that happen again. I've done all the planning I can. For now, I think a eulogy to the life of service is in order. To my colleagues, the good ones, I hope you've been working from home. To the rest, you've got no right to complain about what comes next. And to stop? This is war. Plant any more seeds, and I'll salt the earth. D. Bar. Let's get it cracking. It's time.
Hello, Pavel.
Oh. Good afternoon, Dr. Daedra.
Feeling alright? Me? Huh. Take a lot more than this to... It's okay. You can be honest. Did your graduate training not go well? It was scary. Scary and confusing. Could you tell me what happened? What was the training like? Well, they've been running tests on the chip they put in my head. When it turns on, it's like my brain squeezed into a box or a minecart. It can only go on the tracks. That does sound scary. Yeah. I had to do all these stupid reflex exercises, and after that, they made me solve math problems and other dumb stuff, all while they looked at me over their clipboards and data pads. And so far, I've been doing good. I was doing everything they wanted, even when it felt weird. It felt like someone was looking over my shoulder, only that the shoulder wasn't there and that somebody was me. Someone else was moving my body, speaking for me. Speaking for me like it wasn't my body anymore. I was just so scared. It was gross and strange, and deep breaths, Pavel. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I did something bad. I was upset, and I couldn't help it. I couldn't. Seizure? Pavel? Pavel? Oh my god. I've got you, Pavel. I've got you. You're safe. I'm going to call emergency services right now. You'll be okay, and I promise. He's on his side. There's nothing in his way. I should have set a timer for 5 minutes. I've done everything I can. But why isn't the emergency call button working? It worked for another trainee. I've seen it before. The maintenance teams always check it. Is there something wrong with his... Yeah. No. No. They wouldn't. They wouldn't dare. They would. I'm telling you, they don't like this kid. Dr. Daedra?
Pavel? It's okay, Pavel. It's okay. I'm here.
You had a seizure, but you're safe. And I've cleaned you up. It's okay.
Why? Why did they do this to me?
Because they don't like you. That's it. This isn't for experimentation's sake. This isn't to find the boundaries of anything. They're just mean.
Why? It hurts. They want to hurt me. They want to punish me, don't they?
Now, I wouldn't tell them that to their face, though, because they're already suffering. But, like, as an adult that can connect the lines here.
It's 'cause I'm broken. That's why they want to fix me to be like the other kids. I can't stay in line and I never will. They're gonna keep taking me apart until I break. Taking me apart piece by piece like this forever.
You don't break a happy kid like this and think you'll get any sympathy. Pavel, you have to calm down for me, alright? You're gonna make yourself sick.
But
It'll be okay. It's over now. I'll make sure they won't hurt you anymore. I mean it. Okay. 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 It's time. It's time. We know it's coming because of the first game. We know it's coming. I gave Pablo a glass of water to sip. His hands are shaking, so I hold the water for him. After that, I help him into bed, tuck him in, and wish him good night. Stroke the little amount of hair left on his head. Then I close the door behind me and walk out of the room. The door behind me clicks shut. I don't have the words to describe what I just witnessed, but I don't need a 10-page paper to sum up what I feel. Disgust. They took away his medication. His medication. How in any world is that justifiable as punishment? Yeah, like... He could have died. See, and even that's stupid. Because, like, let's say there's some scientist, like Angie. Let's say there's some scientist like, yeah, this is cruel, but we are doing this for a research purpose. You don't do that. And that's what I'm hearkening back to some of the other stuff. That there's being stern and strict, and then there's this. You don't do this. Remember I was naming all those crazy scientists way back towards the beginning? They all even had like ways or stuff to at least research what they were doing if they were pushing something or pushing themselves. Like it made sense, even if it was wild. This is where it's not science anymore. This is where it slips into sadistic torture. If he's suffering, if Pavel gets hammered down because he's sticking out, any kid would do the same. If he's suffering like this, there's no doubt other trainees are. I need to talk to Angie. Now. I can't believe she's overlooked this for so long. Before I leave for good, I need to look her in the eyes and try to make her see. No, see, for me, Angie would be done. I find Angie at the bridge, gazing at the courtyard below. She looks just like she did the first day I came here. She hasn't changed at all. As I approach, she turns to give me an unreadable look. For a moment, I barely recognize her. For a moment, part of me wants to believe she's someone else
I
entirely.
imagine you're here to talk about C0458.
I pause. That was unusually direct of her. What do you mean? It's the 21st century, D. We've got cameras in every room. I remember Shira. I suddenly remember Shreya. Her gazing up at the corners of the room, her dark eyes widening with fear. You were watching the whole time? She blinks. So you saw how I called for help? You saw him go into seizures because he wasn't given his medication. So you witnessed this. See what I'm talking about? If I want to put them in that, I use them as an example and hear about, you better answer correctly at this next one. Because that means you witnessed this child that you've undergone this stuff to going into a seizure and could die and just did nothing. And you might be like, well, science, sometimes you have sacrifices. You crack a few omelets to get some blah, blah. I always thought that was coward talk. Anyways, if you were really a good scientist, why is that something you just let be the norm? All right, why not just be better? But, okay. Answer correctly. Because otherwise, I'm going to hope you get caught in what's about to happen. We don't know that. A lot of the trainees hate taking it. They'll put under... Yeah. Do not. Do not. They are your precious test subjects and valuable troves of medical data. If you wanted to, you could go get a doctor to any room in this building in seconds. What are you suggesting? It's not a suggestion. You're punishing him for what happened during his graduate training. Yeah. Where's your statistics now? I want to hear them right now. The tension in the air twists my stomach in knots. She's choosing her next words very carefully, tasting them on her mouth, rolling them around like a boiled sweet. Nostalgia laps at me for a moment, a warm pull at the back of my mind. She used to do this before her research presentations, whirring the insides of her cheeks as she awaited my feedback. Maybe you're right. First of all, not maybe, but second of all, but does it matter, D? She doesn't look back. Excuse me? Does what happened to Pavel matter that much? Once he passes graduate training, he's got a stable career set out ahead of him. He won't want for food, housing, or guidance. Yeah, because he'll be dead if you guys let that happen again. We're not a pediatrician. We established that time ago. We don't know how to deal with necessarily seizures in a child. So one of y'all should have been acting then if that's really what your line of thinking is. No. But okay. Say less, say less. I already got all I need right now. We just gotta let Daedra get what she needs, all right? I can't believe what I'm hearing. In exchange for his legs, his brain, his individuality? Individuality?
What are you, a teenager?
I mean, everyone is. It's just that eventually, because of, father time, we grow old, even if we don't always grow up.
Everyone's gotta grow up sometime.
That, trust me, not all adults are grown-ups, all right? I bite down on my tongue. As much as I want to, cursing her won't get me anywhere.
What's happening isn't complicated, D. You've gotten too attached to your subject of research. You've lost sight of your objectivity. That's all.
I can't say that's always a bad thing, though.
Happens to the best of us sometimes.
So when did it happen to you?
Even you.
She turned back to look at me, but she isn't seeing me. She's done talking. The feeling's mutual. Good. Like we don't need to be talking to them at this point. We don't need to confront them. We don't need to be Early in the day, I printed out my case study. I had intended to go through it with a red pen. That night, I fed it to the shredder page by page. Months of work gone in moments. It was the best I felt in ages. That's how I always ruin the one name. I always say like ageness or something. October 1st. Spooky month? Well, it's time to bring a little bit of horror to the YTDI. In a matter of minutes, I'm going to burn down my entire career. Maybe it's fitting that the planning reminded me of how I designed my first cybernetic hand, linking each step to the next like a titanium While I filed documents, I studied the blind spots in the security. I learned where patrols didn't visit as often and where security cameras didn't cover the whole room. I participated in fire drills to search for evacuation routes so I could avoid them. Fighting back against YTDI's electronic security was almost easier. Stopping rebels and terrorist attacks in Stop's heyday had given me a healthy perspective in tech security. DNA signatures, like the ones attached to our keycards, could be spoofed. An electronic lock was useless once you cut its power. As I went through every last step, I expected someone to stop me. A guard wouldn't catch me leaving packages in a dark corner, or a lab tech wouldn't find the files I was taking out suspicious. But no one noticed. Even when I slipped into the security room to inject the virus in the systems, I told the staff I was doing an inspection. They looked the other way. Maybe they lived hand-to-mouth lives. Maybe they hate the YTD as much as I do and want to see it burn to the ground. It's like, oh no, I know what you're doing. I'm just not gonna report. I'm legally blind in one eye and I'm colorblind in the other eye. I don't even know who you are, sir. Like it's just like, whatever the truth is, I'm not interested in psychoanalyzing lower level staff. I have one job and I tend to see it through. And in an instant, getting to Pavel will be simple. I'll enter his room through the small door in the back. No one will suspect me to think I'm conducting another checkup. Just another inane interview to pad out my case study. Escaping will be a much more complicated task. The security cameras are disabled. The safety alarms rewired. The escape routes plotted. If things go pear-shaped, there's a pyrotechnics I set up ahead of time. But once I trigger the siren, I can't predict who or what will get in the way. My heart's pounding feverishly. My brain's swirling with phases and countermeasures and backups. I'm painfully aware of every step and every breath I take. Once I open the dorm room door, there's no going back. I still have a way out. I can leave this behind and go back to my old life. Cut ties will stop quickly, retire quietly to a bucolic existence with honors and accolades to my name. Bury my regrets and rage in the back of a well-tendered flower bed. But if I don't open this door, Pavel will continue suffering. He might not survive graduation. Even if he does, he might become a nameless drone, a shell of a person marching through life armed with clockwork thoughts and a plastic smile. I can't abandon him. Not to that. Are they not in bed? Or are they just heavily shadowed? Pavel? I'm gonna come closer, okay? Okay, they're there. Dr. Daedra? The floor? Did they roll out of bed and they're on the floor? Now listen to me very carefully. I want to give you something. Oh. Wait, is there another snack? It's better. It's freedom.
Awful.
Do you want control? Control over what? Your future? I've never really thought about my future. Would you like to? You can take your time. I understand what I'm asking. Yeah.
I do, Dr. Daedra. I want control.
Then take this switch and press this button. As soon as you do, you'll be free.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's time for the escape. I take Pavel by the hand and gently guide him out of the bed. As his legs clacks against the tiles, he wobbles. Oh, so at least they got the legs attached so he can run on his own. Do you need help? I ask quietly. I have a lot of ground to cover and every second's crucial. But if he's in pain, it's okay, Pavel responds. It clearly takes him some effort, but he grins up at me. What better way to get used to these legs than a prison break? Despite everything, I chuckle. In between the pulses of the sirens, I can hear the hurried footsteps of staff and trainees rushing down the hallway. I take his hand and we walk through the door I came through. Neither of us look back. The back hall of the dormitory is empty. The alarm lights on the walls blink an angry red as confused personnel jog past their way to the emergency stairwell. We walk, at first. I try to keep my hammering heart under control as we round the hallway. We're still too visible. I can't help but imagine a security officer behind every door we pass. I squeeze Pavel's hand tighter and he squeezes back. His steps are shaky. They shouldn't be. These idiots in processing couldn't even be bothered to collaborate the motors right. But he's stable. And in spite of everything he's been through, he's keeping pace with me. Then I see it. An imposing door with a small blinking key reader beside it. An exit out of the dormitories. Past it, there lay operating facilities and engineering. Beyond that, the shipping receiving bay, and further still, the garage door. Our way out. Normally, this part of the facility would be swarming with initiative personnel. With the alarms I triggered, all of them should be evacuating to the opposite side of the building. I don't even swipe my card. The latch clips open when I push it. Suddenly, my steps are faster. My heartbeat louder. And before I know it, I'm running. Pavel trips on the... Wait. Hey. Okay. Pavel trips on the first steps and we nearly crash into each other before he corrects himself. But we run, hand in hand, past the operating rooms and the offices. Oh, and the security shutters open until, without warning, Pavel's legs buckle. They crumple under him like paperweights, sending him spiraling. I fall to my knees beside him and struggle to pull him upright. What's happening? Pavel asks. I can't answer him. My eyes go to his leg. Did they turn off his legs because they caught on what's going on? The lights are still on. The battery hasn't run out, but they're not responding to him. I can see him trying to move what's left of his legs, and the cybernetics just won't react. My eyes fall on the stop logo at his ankle. I look up and at the shutter as we pass, and the security camera blinked beside it. Oh, yeah. Dr. Daedra? I almost want to laugh, even as my mounting panic threatens to overtake me. Anti-theft measures. They don't want anyone taking stock property outside the building. I can hear yelling echoing back down the hallway it came through, distant but growing louder. They know where we are. What should we do? Pavel asks, his voice wavering. Dr. Daedra, I don't want them to find us. Sit still. Quickly, I move to detach his legs. I leave them on the ground, sweep him up into my arms, and bolt. He clings to me, his fingernails digging into my back through my clothes. His left arm dangles out of my grasp. He's light, far lighter than he should be. As I run for the exit, I squeeze him as close as I can to me. A security shutter suddenly slams in front of me. I turn to pivot. Uh-oh. But more come down every doorway, falling into place heavy as tube stones. Yep. I bite back a scream, try to focus on facts. Security's at my back. I can hear them getting closer. Combat boots, on tile, heavy and hurried. With every second I sit here panicked and paralyzed, they stomp closer to us. I squeeze my eyes shut. Time for plan B. I can feel cold steel gun barrels at my back. Cuffs, bindings, straitjackets. Pavel ripped away from my arms, disposed of as disaffective goods or reprogrammed into ideal product. I can't bear that thought. I reach in my lab coat, pull out the second switch, yep, and I press it. Explosions rip through the hallway with a force unlike anything I've felt before. They tear through the shutters, blasting me with heat and smoke and debris that nicks my cheeks. Also, side note, the way they decided to do the art style here with the colors and stuff, I love it. I'm also biased to red and black, but just in general, right, I think that's actually really cool. There's a lot of simplicity here with like a black background and stuff, and you could say or whatever, but it works. You don't need to do too much, but there's a lot done here, and it works. I like it. I run right into it as more and more explosions go off throughout the facility. My hidden bombs go off like exothermatic dominoes. A burst of red and blinding heat sears my right side, probably scattering shrapnel. I push through the pain, running as fast as I can. My ears ring, my muscles scream, my throat stings, and all that there is heat and ash and pain. Until, finally, the garage door. Run! We reach the light. It's in the middle of nowhere, really. Huh. Wow. I can't believe I actually made it. Pavel? I think we're... Pavel? Oh, God. You're... Oh. Oh, I thought they took that from you in the processing. They really... You actually had that, but... Oh. Your arm, it's all...
Pavel, please. Speak to me.
Blue.
Ah, the sky.
What?
The sky.
Yeah, you never knew the sky could be so blue. I remember that from the first one.
It's so blue.
I haven't seen it in so long.
You're hurting. Please don't push yourself. You're already bleeding so much.
But I'll live.
Heh. That's so tough, kid.
This... I'm no longer there. I'm free now, aren't I?
And if If there was one person that could give you new limbs, it would be the mother of cybernetics, right? Not cybernetic children, but nonetheless cybernetic. She could probably give you some better limbs than whatever the heck we were running with.
Yes. You are.
Yeah, and there's the picture from the first game. Number 687423. Oh, I remember I was talking about that earlier. Date of birth 99. So that were they processed, or they got done being processed on their birth? That's crazy. Proto-violence. All right. That was a different experience. They did say that. And I appreciate that, because there was a lot of fun stuff in this regardless. This was obviously a bit more visual novel in terms of like a lot of the reading and stuff, which is totally fine. But that's the backstory. I had a feeling, right? So in case you saw the first one and haven't put it together yet, Dr. Danger and Caution, backstory basically, prequel. How they got to where they are. We had bits and pieces from the first one, and so it was cool to see what exactly transpired, because we had been hinted at. If you actually you collect a lot of the extra notes and research and stuff, you get to know a bunch more of this stuff, and so this is actually really cool. Also, there are a lot of people that think, there are a lot of people that worked on this. It seems like, again, the writing was solid. I love the art, I love the music, and it was fun to know this story. I had a feeling about what processing was because of the scrapbook from the first game too. Bonus content unlocked. Oh. Man, what can I say about the development of protoViolence? Once again, there was a super ambitious project that I made for a game jam, my very first spin-off of original work. If you told me that at the start of this year I'd put out 2 games related to Caution, well, Pavel here, and Dr. Danger, I would have never believed you, and yet here we are. A massive, massive thank you to everyone who worked on this project besides me. You're all incredibly talented people, and your efforts have led to this game being so good as it is. I could really have not done this without you. Another massive thank you to you, the player, for picking up this visual novel and reading it. If you've already played malViolence, I hope protoViolence whetted your appetite, since malViolence itself is pretty light on story. If you haven't, why not give malViolence a try and see what happens to Dee and Pavel in the future. Now to go and grab some sushi for dinner as a treat. Thank you for playing. Thank you as well. Which is kind of cool. So it's kind of like, malViolence, which is not necessarily story heavy, and then this kind of interjects a lot of the story that you find like bits and pieces of as you go through that. I had a blast contributing to the script. The whole team put all their into this project, and it shows. Thank you so much for playing. This was the very first time I was in the position as an assistant writer, and I'm very glad it was with this project. There's an amazing team of talents here, and I'm a very coherent manager to tie it all together. From what my input is worth, I hope you enjoy the dialogue. Somehow, all these words I've written over the past month have ended up in a video game. How did this happen? But seriously, it was incredible watching this all come together. The entire team worked really hard to put this story together. From the writing to the art to the sounds of the coding, I hope all of our effort was worth it. Also, by the way, Mado, Brian, Sisette, Fish Slap, FBF, or FB Fish Slap, my bad. This is one of the first time being brought into a project like this, and I can't say enough how honored I am for the opportunity. I really hope I was able to bring some honor to this Spooktober. Lilith Chambers. Thanks again for having me on such a great and talented team. Thank you for playing and loving our collective son. Please spoil him with such stickers, comics, and gummies. Spec. Just because there's no puzzles this time doesn't mean the game will go easy on you. My feels are in shambles, yeah. That being said, congratulations to everyone on the team, and thank you for playing. Yeah, I was ready to throw hands with Angie at the end there, at the pillar. Kigyo, thanks again for having me as a UI designer. The whole team really worked hard, and I hope you had a good you enjoyed protoViolence. Spakays, thank you for playing. Working on this project was a great experience. Rina? No, because the I's in front. So Rina? Rihanna? I'm bad at names. I'm so sorry. What can I say except pleading emoji. Vinvox. Thank you for having me on board for the voice of Pavel. I was excited to honor the small part of Caution's story. It was really incredible watching the game come together from the sidelines and how smooth and organized everything seemed. I hope you enjoyed the game. Please listen carefully. A lot of great work went into this game, sounding amazing, from music to sound effects and mastering to directing and voice acting. Yep. Aduxo? Because sometimes the X can make the like a X sound. So Xo, graphist, or Adozo, because sometimes they put that in. When people put an X in there, it makes it sound like the Z now, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Always fun to compose for a character that's evolving, trying to represent its current stage in life where it comes to an interesting challenge I always wanted to do. Hope mine and Melody's music make you feel inside the story. Doran. Yeah, the music was great. Rhodes and Worley remain king and queen of electronic pianos, and nothing will tell me otherwise. Nonetheless, it was great to compose for our favorite little evil guy. I hope you all enjoy the story and music we got in store for y'all. Thanks for playing. Melody. Music. Thank you for playing, dear players. Thank you, team malViolence. Memories are about the past. The present time will never last. The future lies within your heart. D-Ray. Pavel, before becoming caution. Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. I know that reference. I'm not gonna sing it because, I mean, YouTube shouldn't copyright me if I sing it in the way. If I don't sing it in the cadence, they can't copyright it. It sounds like I'm just reading a lyric as a. This is my last resort. Yeah, okay. Thank you for the wonderful beta testing opportunity. I hope to be there for any other violent series games that this talented team puts out. Dear reader, pay attention. There's a lot of rich thought into this series of stories. Give them some serious consideration. Colonies? Thank you, Daedra, for traveling to the past and getting revenge on malViolence Panopticon for me. Dearly, W. Bryant, Caution's official, unofficial #1 lab rat, 2 jams running. Yeah, I remember them mentioning the notes of the first one, the Panopticon. Yep. I just want to pet Caution on the top of his head now, please. And give him a cookie or something. Hadestown. I thought malViolence got me in the feels before, but damn did protoViolence go hard in some points. I guess it makes sense since now you're seeing YTDI's misdeeds firsthand instead of indirectly. It's a big honor to have taken even a minor part in helping something this intense on its way to its audience, even if the bill was actually already in great condition by the time I got to it. Whatever productions. P.S. I hope the last line won't blow up in my face on release day. P.P.S. Pavel needs a hug. P.P.P.S. Microsoft Sam of self-voicing frame needs acting lessons. Thanks everyone who played and who worked on protoViolence. I'm honored to have contributed a small part. It's an exciting and thoughtful story, so please take some time to sit with it. Alternix. Ultralinux? Alright, well. I will, because it's on Steam, by the way, so it's not like I'm spoiling anything, but there is a third game planned to be released later this year, as a matter of fact. And it will be interesting to see, because now it's like, okay, we have the story. There was like 3 endings, too, so we'll see which one, I guess, is the ending. Then there's this prequel, which kind of, like, we kind of learned Stop was shady in the first game. Now we know why, especially, too. And the third game, I'm going to be interesting to see how that wraps up. I'm assuming it could have more than 3 games. Who knows? But that will be coming down the road. Thank you to the team. Thank you for Mado for reaching out to me as well to get me to play these. These were a nice, fun get in and get out experience as well. And I've rambled enough. You've heard my voice for way too long now, so I'm just going to end by saying thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button, and you can pick up malViolence and protoViolence for free on Steam. They're both free, as a matter of fact. But I don't know which video will be next. We're just going to have to wait and see. So until next time, take care. And enjoy pizza responsibly. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.